this rhythm. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Yeah.
Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Hey, Victory Tuesday, I guess you can say technically here.
Yeah.
Actually, Wednesday at this point here in My Cowboys Family. But, you know, we are going to try to catch you guys after the games. It's going to be either Monday or Tuesday evenings. So keep that in mind. That looks like the plan from now on, one or the other. And then Friday is going to be the preview stream for the game day, usually, you know, depending on Sundays. Let's just say on Sundays. If it's Monday, we'll adjust accordingly. That's the days you can definitely look for us, and we will be live and in full effect with you all here with us on My Cowboys Family. So tonight we're going to do a quick recap on this Browns game. This fantastic win for us. I think it was a good win. We should be happy, but now it's time to turn the page and move on to the Saints, Aints, whatever, the bagheads. But the point is, in the end, it's about the focus is winning each and every week and taking every opponent seriously, even if it is our home opener against the Aints. They got Derek Carr. We'll talk about it in detail on Friday. We'll touch on it tonight, though. So, baby, as we get going here, for the recap, before all the injury updates and all the other stuff we have to talk about, let's talk about the people that are repping this board here in a new week here, opening week 2 here on My Cowboys Family, and some new winners. A new winner. Everybody else is the same pretty much. We got the man as our weekly. Oh, he's our weekly winner last week. Jet Li 44. He is our sponsor of the week.
Back to back in it. Sponsor of the week 2 weeks in a row.
Like our
and
90s Cowboys.
Membership gifting king.
Yes.
2 weeks in a
That's
row.
back to back. And he's also, 12 out of 14 as the membership gifting king. So big, huge shout out to Jet Li 44. Yeah, that sponsor of the week. That stays up the whole entire stream. But Cab 52 took it away from Jet Li to try to go back to back there as a Cash App king, and now the king is Cab 52. He's not just the king though of the Cash App. He's also has Mr. 52 has 32 points on the stream boss. So big shout out to Cab 52. Thank you again. He went to the Stream Labs, I guess you could say, away there.
Again, you know, there's 4 different ways to show the love as far as like the Cash App side of things. You can see it right there. You know, you have the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo app My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, or like Mr. Cap52 did, the Streamlabs, and his message showed up on screen just like a super chat.
Big shout out to him there. And also, again, this week here, kicking off a brand new week, Jetly 44, will he get that? Will 44 get that three-peat? We'll see. But Skeptical Fan opening things up tonight here with a $2 holler. Opening it up, and with that $2 holler in first place currently this new week here. Of course, there's no new gifting leaders because this is the first stream of the week. So no gifting leaders here kicking off a new week, and technically right now no Cash App leader either. Just Cav 52 repping that crown for the entire week. But we do have a leader on the overall board coming for that weekly winner board for that sponsor week board. Right now, Skeptical Fan, the man. He's got 52 points. He's got 2 points now. I guess 2 on the leaderboard, and he is currently our leader. So thank you.
So with his $2 holler, he said a moment of silence for the Cleveland Browns fans.
Pretty much. I mean, that was pretty. I think they were shocked. I mean, the score 33-17, but it was really 33-10. And if we had a sack and a couple sacks here and there that we missed, and a pick or two, I mean, it might be 33-0. It might be 40 to nothing, honestly. So I mean, Cowboys completely dominated a game and a team everybody thought, well, it's a playoff team last year and getting better in the Cleveland Browns. Now all of a sudden the Cowboys kind of shocked a lot of the fans. I'd say Cleveland and some Cowboy fans. Definitely, I'm a little shocked as well in the sense of the way we controlled that game in the first half on both sides of the ball. But in the second half we had some issues on offense, but the defense of the Browns are damn good. And then of course we had our defense, who was better. Obviously, it showed in this game, just controlling it from start to finish on defense. So loving that part of things here for our Cowboys and the way. But we'll go forward and talking to this more in detail here. You said 4 ways to help the channel out. There's 4 ways you can. There's other ways you can do it through the YouTube side, like Skeptical Fan dropping the super chat. There is of course the thanks button. There's membership, Navy, Blue, Silver, Star, and over everything level memberships with all the perks there. And then if you're in the membership, you are then able to gift memberships to anybody in the chat randomly, and big shout outs to Skeptical Fan and Jetly44, who've been the big gifters lately on that board. So big shout outs to both of them. Now, as we move from there, we also have to have a little special, as the chat grows, we have a special raffle tonight, a monthly special raffle, as you can see, for a Sewn and Stitch jersey. Yes. You can pick any team, you can pick any sport pretty much that is available, but we have the most in Cowboys. We got all the way from, like I said, Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett.
Variety of players, style, sizes.
Through Tyler Guyton, if you wanted him. So, again, a lot of jerseys to pick from, like you said, styles and sizes, and we will have a winner today. Now, there's different, just so you guys remember, we are going to count like Seabass. He was in the entire month of August, even though he's technically not in the over everything right now. We're going to count it because this is for the month of August. The star level, same thing as well for those that are in there. I think we had one person that dropped out, but still put you in there. I think it was the Lunatic. So we still, because you were in the month of August. So you guys will be in that raffle tonight. We'll shout you out in a minute. Also want to say the weekly winners, which this month we only had one. We had Chill Pale, but that was she was on there last month's raffle, and then only one person really got this. We had a 2-week thing here, and it was Jetly 44. So big shout out to Jetly 44, who gets the bonus raffle entry for this month. That was the only one we really had because of a 2-week span. And the other 2, we're in one now, basically, though, and we are in the one from the one from the beginning was half the month was Chill Pill, and the second half of the month was Jetly 44. So Jetly 44 will have the bonus raffle entry here, and we'll do that towards the end of the stream. But big shout outs to everybody in that, and let's do our nightly shout outs when it comes to the top shelf level membership, the star level on over everything. Much love to Skeptical Fan, Jetly44, Lincoln Kane, Marissa Sparkle, and John Luna, who will be in this month's, this upcoming month, the month of September's a raffle. He will be in this star level. Not last month. This is for August, so he wasn't in that one. He just got into September. So anyways, just so everyone's kind of on the know on this situation. But yeah, big shout outs, and we'll have a winner tonight in the raffle named and claiming one of these jerseys. Now, on that note, it's time to shout out everybody in the house before we get to the news, info, and updates, the recap, and the preview of the Saints game, baby. Who's in the house tonight?
We have the man, Mark Hosepi, and a big mahalo to him, and he dropped a $5 holler. I'll get to his comment in just a second here. Seabass, huge shout out to you, and again, all good, man. And trust me, we can't wait. Hopefully we have only good things to talk about next time we have you on stream in just a few weeks here.
Yeah, I mean, shortly, yeah, for sure.
So, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, what's up?
There
Very
it
happy.
is.
Victory Tuesday, as Mr. MCF said earlier. Skeptical fan, of course, always staying skeptical. We have Jet Li 44, Go
Yeah.
Cowboys, you know it.
Repping the board.
Tornado representing, also Go Cowboys. Frame Rippers, much love.
Yeah.
Thank you for stopping by, saying hello. Even Mr. MCF After Dark, whoever that is.
Yeah, both after dark.
Freedom First, saying not first. We Go Cowboys, all good there. Let me see. Can't go back. So yeah, I think Tornado beat you to it. So Xavier Hidalgo, hello and hi. But thank you, Marco Seppian.
There it
you know
is.
what he said?
What did the man say? By the way, taking Cap 52 to 27 points. The man all in Hawaii, repping that star for everything. What did the man Mark Hopesepian have to say?
I was not shocked. Both starting tackles out, and Deshaun is a shadow of his former self. He ranked 32nd in quarterback QBR.
Rating, yeah.
In quarterback rating after 10 games and has not played since last year.
He was banged up last year, injured, as we discussed, last week. His missing time.
He also obviously had a lot of personal stuff going on with...
And he's got one right now. His dad died.
Yeah.
And then now he's got a situation going on. So he definitely was off for a lot of reasons, right? And I agree 100% about the missing tackles. That gave us an advantage. As I always will say, the trenches really is, and this is, I know some other channels out there I'm hearing is kind of trying to say like, oh, every week it's the trenches. Guys, how long have we been saying that here? Over the quarterback or the defense or this or that. What is the biggest, one of the deciders of games is what's going on in the trenches, and who wins them, whether it's offensive line versus our offensive line versus their defensive line, and vice versa, which we controlled both of them obviously in this game. And as you take a lead, it's easier to control the game when you have a great pass rushing core like the Cowboys do as far as starters, right, Mark? I know he has a gripe with the backups and the rotation and the fact that we don't have lack of scary guys out there. But I really hope you're on tonight, Mark, and stay on here tonight and converse with us, because I think I'm going to bring up some things. I hope that you will see that, at least against the Browns' good players, the defensive tackles, that run stopping, there were still some issues, but it was far from what we had in the past. I know they had no Nick Chubb. It was more the way the defensive front line played against the offensive line of the Browns that were not injured. And I saw domination by the Cowboys defensive line, mainly by the two veterans, Jordan Phillips and Linville Joseph. Even though they didn't play a crazy amount of snaps, I did see a lot. When they were in there, they were definitely, you can see that they were not being moved. And I will say, Osa and Mozzie didn't get moved either that much. That was against Biatino and some of their better, some of their solid starting, very good starting offensive linemen in those front three, center and guard spots. Cowboys play well with our interior line. The moves were, at least in week one, seemed to pay off, helping slow down and or stop the run, and not seeing our front line guys getting moved back 5 yards like what was his name? Dontari Poe was getting shoved back, 5 yards every play. So we don't have that issue, it seems, right now. Well, you've got a good offensive line coming up here into Dallas and with the Saints. You got Kamara, who got 80-something yards. So this is going to be a better test maybe overall, as far as the trenches are concerned with our defensive line stopping the run. But pass rushing, every team's going to be struggling against us. I don't care if you're starters and if you have your backups, they're going to struggle more. Deshaun Watson was eaten up. And it wasn't just the pass rush. Mark, we got to say this. It was also Zimmer's defensive scheme that confused the team, the offensive scheme, the offensive coaches, the Deshaun Watson and the offensive players. The receivers were in wrong spots for the Browns in some plays, which fucked Deshaun Watson. So I'm just saying, like, the whole team scheme confused them by Zimmer. You know what I'm saying? Domination because they had no defense, right and left tackles are out, like we discussed. Those were the keys to the game, and like I said, that's why we controlled that game start to finish and dominated it. Well, actually, we were down 3-0 if you remember.
But you're putting the stream cart over the stream horse.
I know. So. I get so excited, but that was answering a full, detailed answer for the man Marco Seppian, who, by the way, sorry, skeptical fan, but Marco Seppian is now currently the leader on the overall board. He's in first place. Skeptical is in second as we just kicked off a brand new week. So should I get into this? So any
Yeah,
more people to
let's
shout
go.
out, or are we good?
No, Ronan the Voice, Aztec Aguilar. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for joining us. But baby, let's go.
Yeah, let's roll it. First and foremost, the non-Cowboy news here. Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill, as you guys everybody knows already, was arrested hours before kickoff of their game against the Jacksonville Jaguars because of a driving violation. It was for speeding outside the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. An officer, was arresting him. At first, I was saying he hit him, but he didn't hit him. But he was obviously an asshole and very, almost the cops were, one or two of them were escalating the situation without question. I think Calais Campbell was also arrested. Another player was detained.
No.
Okay,
Calais Campbell was detained, but then let go.
He was put in cuffs, right, detained, and then let go. Other guys in front of him, also other players pulled over to see what was going on. They were getting threatened with arrest. It was a whole thing. Escalation by the cops. I thought it was completely wrong, even if I hate Tyreek Hill, and I think he's a complete scumbag. He was getting harassed here, and again, he was kind of a dick, but if cops can't take, if you're a cop and you can't take, fucking like fuck you, and he even say fuck you, but he's just don't knock on my window, like in an asshole kind of way, which Tyreek Hill is an asshole. If you can't take that, don't be a fucking cop.
Don't be a cop.
Yeah, you should not be a police officer because obviously you're very easily triggered. You have thin skin. You're weak-minded in that sense, in my mind. So come on, be professional. Anyways, the point here is, and I'd probably sue the police department if I'm Tyreek Hill. Officer. He was, again, released, played the game, scored a touchdown, did the whole touchdown like he was getting arrested, celebration. He was officially cited for speeding at a, quote, visual estimation of 60 miles per hour. Initially, the cop said he was going 100, which was a blatant lie. You see the video. But they said it was about 60, and I think Tyreek did admit he said he went 55 in the 40. So he was speeding. Doesn't mean he should get roughed up and kind of, I'd say abuse of power by the cops.
I don't think
because of that.
Is going to sit there and say, "Oh man, you were speeding.
Yeah.
You deserve to be abused by the cops."
Yeah. So again, and I'm not saying it was like severe abuse, but they almost tackled him when he was like trying to sit down on the sidewalk, and he said, "I need."
Maybe harassed.
Well, I mean, he was trying to sit. They were trying to sit him down. He was trying to sit down slowly, and he has a bad knee. They started attacking him and getting on his back. He's like, "I just got a knee operation,
that's
bro."
That's the part that
that's fucked
bothered
up.
me.
Yeah.
The most out of all of that, just because again, if you're just a normal person with whatever knee problem, and sure, you might not be out for the year, but you probably have to live with it in a way that
is their job. That's their job. Is exactly. This player's knee is his livelihood. They didn't need to fuck around with it. I'm just saying. And yes, you know what? He's a piece of shit. There's abuse allegations. Domestic abuse. There's abuse allegations on children with him and his wife abusing their child, breaking their child's arm. So he's a scumbag. I agree 100%. I just don't think that, he deserves. Good for him. I would never root this on, and it shows a bigger issue, I think, with some of these cops that have this power, and they have this power trip shit going on. That exposed the cops, in my opinion, more than anything. We know Tyreek Hill's an asshole. But the cops are being exposed here. Once again, we all got to admit that, these cops are fucking assholes and they're abusing their power. Anyways, in the end, the body cam footage, you guys can tell me, tell what you think in the comments or whatever. But basically, cops were on a power trip, in my opinion, abusing their authority, going to extremes and escalating a situation. You could just give him his fucking ticket violation, which is what they ended up doing. They didn't arrest him. They gave him ticket violation and they let him go to the game, which he played in. So it was just a harassment bullshit thing. And even Tyreek Hill was a dick. They could have given him an extra ticket probably, and he would have to be on his way. That's it. That's all it comes down to. I know some entitlement for sure. I don't feel horribly bad for Tyreek Hill, except, but again, at the same time, abuse is abuse, and abuse of power shows more to me than anything. So anyways, that's my 2 cents on that. Any thoughts from you maybe on this really quickly? This NFL news. The only NFL news that doesn't affect the Cowboys, actually.
Yeah. First of all, let's just be glad that it's not a Dallas Cowboy going through this right now.
Great point. Great fucking point.
Even outside of that, just like you said, it sucks when one of the worst people ends up in a terrible situation. And while I agree that he wasn't exactly being a model citizen there in the way that he responded or some of the actions that he took, I still don't think it called for the type of abuse, escalation and the way that they were treating him. And it just lets it doesn't matter who you are, prejudice can exist everywhere.
Yeah.
So, also thought it was very funny that the people were basically talking to each other behind the scenes, except for the one guy who didn't know. Oh, that's freaking Tyreek Hill. That's Tyreek Hill. He's a famous guy. Like,
yeah, he's supposed to be at this game playing like in an hour.
So, shout out, by the way, there, Mark Hovsepian, another big mahalo, with a $5
are you telling me he put 5 on it?
He did. Yeah, you know what he said?
What did he say?
He was speeding, would not roll down his window, gave attitude, and then rolled up the window again. Then would not get out of his car. How about, yes, officer? Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like you can make a fair argument for that.
I agree 100%.
You know, as someone who, let's be real, has had multiple interactions with law enforcement, you think he would know better.
And while I agree with that, I also think that, you know, maybe the response didn't match his attitude, is my point.
Well,
that's
I
all.
See some comments in the chat that agree as well, but I also see Mr.
Jet Li
44 with the dollar holler.
Hell yeah. He dropped that dollar holler and go Cowboys, obviously. I see also he's going to be dropping something else, baby. On my side, it's showing.
Well, I see a $1.45 holler.
Yep, coming right around the corner. Big shout out to Jet Li. And with that, he actually jumps into second place, I think. So let me update the board here. As you take a go ahead, hit up the other comments or two that you said.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can tell you right now, Dank Trees agrees with Mark, saying, why didn't he put up the why didn't he put the window up? You know, he's lucky that he didn't get shot up.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that.
JP said, nah, he was definitely being stupid.
Agree. Everybody with this. But being stupid does that equate to be, you know, kind of almost... I don't say. Should I say arrested?
Harassed.
Yeah, I mean, I would say arrested.
Is probably the best word for it.
Harassed. You know, if you give him a couple extra tickets, that you could say that's harassment, but that's good. Give him the extra tickets. It's nothing to physically
The point is that they were harassing him when they got him out of. Like, obviously, the guy was being a little aggressive to begin with, but you know, I think that Tyreek Hill kind of goaded him on a bit by his actions. The thing is that the second that they ripped him out of the car. After they asked him to step out of the car, that was where it got too far.
I agree.
And you can obviously tell that he was beginning the process of doing that. They just didn't like the speed in which he was doing it in.
Yeah, the thing is, cops are having a bad day. The guy was being an asshole. There's no doubt. I agree 100% with what Mark said. He's being an asshole. Does that mean he should be thrown to the ground and roughed up for that kind of attitude? Should he be yelled at? Should he be given an extra ticket or something for something? Yes, but should he be taken out of his car, thrown to the ground, and almost arrested for this? I don't agree with that. I think it has to kind of match the crime. I don't like the attitude, but imagine if the cop then escalated, because I think that yes, the person in the car, which is Tyreek Hill, was the asshole escalating it initially. The cops got to be better than that, in my opinion. Like in my thought process, the cops got to be bigger than let's say not say the criminal, but the violator in this situation, right? Mm-hmm. You got to be bigger than them. Yes, they have to respect. They have to take the ticket. They got to sign for it, whatever. But if they're an asshole, a bit of an asshole, a little bit short with you, you know, you don't like that. As a cop, you have two choices. You can be a dick and escalate it, or you can just get them the fuck out of there and move on with everyone's day.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, on one hand, you know, you can talk about the cops and their responsibility here, but on the other hand, like, just some very basic,
just follow
how to interact with cops 101. Like, it doesn't take much to say yes, officer, no, officer.
Agree. That's what he should have done.
Not do anything stupid, which unfortunately Tyreek Hill not exactly known for.
Right, he does a lot of dumb shit.
Not doing stupid shit, exactly. So
big shout out. By the way, another $1, like you said, 45-cent holler that just passed through. It puts Cab 52, so 20 points. You guys know who number 20 is for our team?
No, I can't.
Practice squad running back Dalvin Cook.
Oh, that's right.
Who we may see this week. So keep that in mind.
I saw a comment about somebody who wanted to see him early in the chat. Maybe it was you, Mr. Seabass, who, you know, by the way, exactly. He said just shut the fuck up and comply. You got money, you got publicity, influence where the officer is wrong. Yes, but dude, don't prolong the goddamn experience. Being black is one thing. I'm black, but I'm not doing that.
Listen, here's the way I look at it.
So, Kenzie Band, shout out to you.
Yes. Big shout out to Kenzie, Jet Li, Seabass. You know, the thing is this. Here's my
after this, we'll move on.
Yeah, my final kind of quick thought on this. I think we could all kind of agree on this generally. I think we all agree, no matter which side you're kind of on this. Because trust me, I hate Tyreek Hill. I'm personally on the side of, you know, the cops kind of overstepped it a little bit. They should be bigger and better than that. But both sides fucked up. both sides were to blame in this or had an issue with it. Let's just say at least an issue, right? Tyreek Hill should never have been a fucking dick like he naturally always is. The cops shouldn't have been dicks back and back. Both of them dicks back and forth is going to lead to an issue like this. Tyreek Hill should know better. And he pushed it, and they weren't dealing with it. They were having it today, the cops. So anyways, look, in the end, both sides are at fault. Both sides could have been better. And, just wish Tyreek Hill could have not been a dick, especially the fact that he was speeding 55 into 40 at the very least, even though there was no speed check because they didn't record him. It was a visual observation, they said, the cops. So anyways, I think we're done with that. I don't know if there's any other last comments on that, but we're good. Now, we're good on that. That's not even concerning us. It is another team. Now, the team we just played, the Browns, as you can see on our thumbnail, Deshaun Watson is there, and there's a specific reason why he's up there. That's outside of the recap we're going to give. It's because he's been sued again. Yeah. In this case, it arises from an alleged incident in October of 2020, which this woman accuses him of sexual assault and battery while on a date. It was not related to the massages. And again, there's details about it. I'm not going to go into it, but it's pretty fucked up. Allegations.
Well, he had to get it from somewhere, I guess.
I mean, he's got problems, Deshaun Watson. Allegations are not the same as the prior lawsuits. Whole different situation. And the NFL is going to probably not treat it as a continuation of that previously settled. He already was suspended for that personal conduct policy. He's possibly going to suspend it again.
So this is like a new case.
Yes. If the NFL viewed his latest lawsuit allegation as something that would have been resolved by his prior conduct policy suspension, they could have said that today, but they didn't. Which means that they won't in the future, and now they're treating it as a new issue. And you know what's crazy? NFL Special Counsel for Investigation is Lisa Friel. Remember her? She's the New York Giants fan that was one presiding over Zeke's situation.
Yeah.
She also is the one that led the investigation into the Browns' Deshaun Watson that resulted in his 11-game suspension.
There you go.
She's the one heading this situation, this investigation. Once again. So get ready. I think Deshaun Watson is looking, after this year, maybe to be out of football again for a little bit. We'll see what happens. But he's going through his thing right now outside of just dealing with the Cowboys.
It's a very expensive mistake by the Browns.
Oof, man, that's a mind. People complain about Dak. It ain't as bad as that one, no matter what you tell me. It ain't as bad as the Deshaun Watson deal. And the Texans made out on that, by the way, unfortunately for them. But anyways, new kickoff rule. Brandon Aubrey ripping it up, maybe, He hit the 57-yarder. He crushed that one. I mean, he crushed it for over 65 yards probably. And then the other kick, of course, that didn't count was the 66-yarder, which would have tied the NFL record with officially, right, with Justin Tucker. Yeah. So Brandon Aubrey, of course, that was a delay of game. If he had kicked the 71-yarder, it would have shattered that record incredibly. We know there's the kickoff rule. That's the only thing I got for kickers right now.
By the way, we do have a little explanation from Foss on what the heck happened there. But we'll get to that later.
I'll be looking forward to that. But I just wanted to bring this up for a different reason. Because we had Post Malone wearing the navy blue, number 17, Brandon Aubrey jersey. He beat you to it, baby. He beat you to it.
Put some respect on that name.
Which one? Post Malone?
See, everybody's trying to steal my
Or Brandon Aubrey. Yeah, no, Brandon Aubrey, yeah. So anyways, he was repping that. Now let's get to serious business here. By the way, if you don't mind, maybe hit up the chat just for a quick second, if you can.
Of course.
And I want to bring up this next topic. This is a big one here. It's about injuries.
So, let me see here. So Seabass said whether or not their claims against him were validated in court or legalities, litigation, whatever you want to call it, some of those females have actual credible substantive proof against this man. So Deshaun is done. Yeah, again.
Don't look good for him, right?
I have a feeling combined with his current performance and what I'm hoping is a permanent expulsion from the NFL.
If it's true, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how many more times does he have to, I guess, quote, abuse women before the NFL says you're done? Wow. Just saying. So, especially him already having such a high-profile situation, it's like he not only learned nothing, he doubled down and made it worse.
Yeah.
So, just sucks. I want to see Ronan the Voice. What's up? Much love, and yes,
a lot of Aubrey love there.
Hey,
you know it.
He's got it already.
So we'll see if he continues that.
From 71.
But let's go to the injury situations. All right, and that's Jake Ferguson right here, number 87. Actually, let me get him more close up so everyone knows.
What's up, Dustin Roberts? Much love, and
love,
guys,
Dustin.
Again, skeptical fan already dropping those ain'ts
Ooh,
emojis.
you know it's coming. The ain'ts, the bagheads, whatever you want to call them. We got two different emojis you can choose from there when it comes to hating on those ain'ts. But now let's talk about who maybe ain't gonna be there for this game, and that's Jake Ferguson. So we know about the injury. You see that on the shorts. You know, if you guys seen the short that I posted yesterday, you guys know the full update on him. We avoided disaster. We would have lost our starting tight end for the year if it was a torn MCL, which is what unfortunately was the injury. But I'll explain what happened. Of course, in the middle of this beatdown of the Browns, you see 33-17. It was a scare, right? He fell awkwardly on that left leg. His leg got tangled up underneath a Browns defender, and he came up clutching his knee. It actually rolled his ankle too. It looked like his ankle got snapped. Mm-hmm. But we didn't see that as much as the knee where he grabbed it afterwards, which was the bigger issue. He was writhing in pain. He was writhing in pain. I'm sorry. And he also, the good news, like he had brought up at the time, he walked to the locker room, right? The details of his injuries weren't known at the time. After the game, he walked out of the locker room towards the buses with teammates, and there was no brace on his knee, which was obviously a good sign to start off. No crutches or anything like that. Usually that would mean it's a torn MCL or ACL if he had the crutches or a broken bone of some sort. There was only an ice pack being held by gauze, which initially was like, all right, this is good. Let's knock on wood. Ian Rappaport revealed that his x-rays came back negative, and it was not believed to have been a torn ACL or an MCL. So they didn't see that. Again, earlier reports there was no tear. And he was, of course, when he got back to Dallas, he was undergoing MRIs that revealed the full extent of the injury. And again, we knew that he was going to probably miss some time. All right, it seemed that with Cowboys initially we had avoided that long-term scenario.
Like there's no way around it.
The worst case scenario, yeah. So, but the point is that we missed that. We did not get that. We had a good confidence that it was not going to be a tear, but we still need to do the MRI. As you guys know, the next day, MRI test revealed that his MCL suffered the sprain, which is like microscopic tears, but it's not a tear of any sort in the sense of like when they call it a tear or a partial tear. So tests revealed that he had an MCL sprain, and this means that he will miss time, which we expected. But it's obviously overall very good news, and it is not season ending. The word has been kind of going around already, even though I'll get you more from McCarthy himself.
Heck, if you take it from Jake Ferguson himself, he's trying to be back this week.
Yeah, he's trying to get right back there. I don't know if he spoke, but
he literally that was
his only comment. Yeah, he'll be right. He said he could have played in this game. So Ferguson is considered week to week, according to sources, and again, it's officially a sprained MCL. MCL sprains, just so you guys know, medically speaking in football, it's about 3 to 4 weeks that they're out, usually. So maybe we get him back for week 5 against Pittsburgh, maybe week 6. That's maybe the worst case scenario. So he'll be back soon. He's not gone for the season. Great news for Ferguson and the Cowboy offense. In the meantime, Schoonmaker's got to step up. John Stevens, we'll see if he's coming back. He missed his last game. We'll have, of course, we had Brevin Spanford, stepping up as an undrafted guy, playing some snaps in this game. So in this past game, so he's going to step up there. We might have to bring up, Princeton Fant from the practice squad. Maybe use him as one of the elevations this week from the practice squad. We'll probably have to bring up a tight end. So that's what the Cowboys are looking at right now. But what's another option? Well, I said this during the game, and we checked it afterwards. It's verified, and McCarthy triple down on this. Who's going to get a lot of these snaps? Lipke, number 40, the fullback, who's playing H-back, plays a little tight end outside, like third tight end. You saw a lot of that from Lipke. That's the guy taking some of these snaps for Ferguson. So anyways, McCarthy said that Ferguson, this was today now. This is, their off day, basically, as far as on the field. They were, still studying, doing game film and stuff, and rehabbing. But McCarthy said that Jake Ferguson will be working with, quote, the return to play group this week at practice. So he'll be on the sidelines, probably with the rehab cords, So anyways, that's great news for the Cowboys after a very possible, could have been much worse, scary injury that he suffered.
This is the best possible outcome from what we saw.
Seeing injury out there, seeing an actual injury, that knee. Now, if he does miss any time, Cowboys are going to lean heavily on the other 3 tight ends I just named, but also the fullback Lipke. McCarthy today said, quote, "I think the guy you put at the front of this line right now, who is out there, is Hunter," as in Hunter Lipke. And again, when he was in Oxnard, we were in training camp, he worked with the tight end group a lot of the time, not the running backs.
Sure.
So, again, he got some running back work, but Lipke also worked with tight ends. There you go. There's that secret kind of jack of all trades, kind of fullback that McCarthy wanted that could run, catch, and block. That's why we got him, and that's why he stayed on the team. He's a big part of the team. I'll go through the snap count here in a minute, but again, Hunter Lipke would be taking some tight end snaps, and he did pretty well. Now, any quick thoughts on this from you about the Ferguson injury? I know you agree. It's thank goodness it's over.
I mean,
it's not a big injury.
Yeah, on this we're actually pretty much on the same page. Yeah. So, like I said, just still honestly feeling tons of relief.
Yeah, Jet Li saying it was. He said it was. It's funny. I said the same thing too. I think that day I said it looks like a hyperextension or a sprain. Thank goodness it was that, right, Jet Li?
So yes, thank goodness. So and yeah, Seabass. Obviously, I have to throw out there. Definitely agree with you as far as I feel like people are trying to downplay the Browns now that we beat them.
You remember what I said? What I said that day? I said, watch them start saying, "Oh, Cowboys, they beat the Browns. They suck anyways." Even though they were ranked between first and from as good as 7th or 8th on all these power rankings, and as low as 12th, and we were ranked at 19th and 15th and 17th, and they were the favorite by 2.5 points at their house, and we're the ones that the Cowboys are. Playing a bad team when we're the supposed quote unquote, we're the worst of the 2 teams. So I'm sorry, that's just the moving of the goalposts. We know they're always going to do this. If we play the Niners and we beat the Niners and one of their guys got hurt or someone missed a couple plays or half the game, they're going to say we beat them only because of that reason. Even if we beat them to shit, even if we destroy them, even if we Kittle missing, the third quarter, that's why you guys won. That's what they'll say. They'll always say that, guys. Expect it. Know it's coming. Now, we also know it's not going to happen every week, but this first game, I wanted to know what was and I know we were curious. I know you said you were really curious about the snap count percentages and stuff.
Yeah.
So the snap count totals from Sunday are in just 2 plays on offense for Deuce Vaughn. That's number 1. Osa Odighizuwa on defense played a career-high 61 snaps. That is a lot for a defensive tackle, especially with the guys we had in rotation.
That's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, so he had 61, while Mozzie only had 23 snaps. They rotated the other veterans over Mozzie a little bit more. I want to stay with that in a minute here, because Mozzie had, like I said, 23 snaps, but Jordan Phillips had 15 and Linval Joseph had 13. So you can see those 3 guys played mainly that one tech nose tackle with occasionally, maybe Linval Joseph or maybe Jordan Phillips, maybe one of those guys playing the 3 tech for Osa for 20 snaps or 15 snaps. So again, or not 15 snaps, but getting a couple snaps in there. I know Chauncey Golston also played a lot in that spot there for Osa when Osa didn't play. So you guys feel me here? It's basically Mozzie, Jordan Phillips, and Linval Joseph. Those 3 guys rotating in at nose tackle. You got me?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if you're following or able to follow, but that's a big way of us stopping the run. It seems like for us, we're controlling the center and guard area with that player. Now, Osa seems to be the solidified 3 tech, but he got a little, kind of probably more at the fact that we were winning by so much. But you see a lot of Chauncey Golston coming there on 3rd downs, which was interesting to see. He's using edge. He's playing inside there as the 3 tech. And other guys. You saw Micah over center. You saw him over guard. And so that time we didn't even have a 3-tech in some of those plays, or a nose tackle, I should say, on those plays. So just the way the things kind of panned out, very interesting to me. Also on defense, only 9 snaps for Maurice Liufau. Listed as a starter over Overshone. Overshone a lot more than him. Overshone played 44 snaps, 58% of the game. Liufau only played 12%, but he is a rookie, and he got 9 snaps mostly towards the end of the game. I see him more, even though they have him as a starter. I think he's kind of more of where Marshawn Nealon is, number 94 on defense as edge rusher. Nealon played 44 snaps. He played a lot of snaps, Nealon, right? And I think, again, he equaled the same amount as Overshone. So Moreland is actually the rookie second-rounder guy, right? Instead of the third-round Liufau, Moreland actually had more value, more importance for the Cowboys in Week 1 than the guy that listed as a starter, Maurice Liufau. And he's been good, but he obviously still needs a little more polishing, right, as a rookie. So very interesting the way the Cowboys, I would say more so Mike Zimmer is using this core of defensive players.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the comments that you heard across the board from pretty much all of our defense after the game. They all basically said, Zimmer's adding a whole new twist to this. This isn't even half the stuff, half the new things that we've been doing or adding. So, expect a lot more of the unexpected from Zimmer.
Yeah, I love it. I know the Cowboys are loving it. The defensive players are loving it. We'll see. We'll see as we get to better talent, right? But it's okay because, look, defensively, snap counts, defensive tackle rotation, Osa pretty much all the time, rotated in Mozzie Joseph Phillips, and Chauncey would come in there. Chauncey Golson would go in there and go in for like Osa for a little bit of time. I like the rotation by Zimmer, the way we're using that. And again, I want to reiterate, I don't know if Mark Hovsepian's in the chat or listening, but I want to reiterate the way the defensive tackles played in this game, the way Zimmer set it up with Osa handling business. I got to give Osa credit here because he played a lot. I think Golson played mainly on pass rushing downs, but Osa did both. And the defensive tackle, I got to give Mozzie credit and the other 2 veterans, Jordan Phillips and Linville Joseph. They both were holding their ground. They weren't getting I think Jordan Phillips did hit the quarterback, Watson, once so hard. I mean, he almost killed him. I think that he has more of a pass rush ability, but both these guys are nose tackles that are mainly there to stop the run and take on 2 blockers and not go backwards, which is exactly what they did. And Mozzie was kind of in the same mix with them. He got a couple extra snaps, and he did very well. So I like the way the Cowboys ran this defense. If you want to know, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, and Trayvon Diggs, this is important. Trayvon Diggs played every single snap. Mm-hmm. Or I'm sorry, not every single snap. They missed 1 snap, I think, the last game. The final drive. They missed the last, couple snaps. Micah played 91% of the game. Jordan Lewis played 89%. Kalen Carson played 60 snaps in this game. 79% of the game.
That's again a lot for
a rookie. Big stuff to him to handle there. DeMarcus Lawrence, 52 snaps. Kendricks played 51 snaps. He had a great game. We'll talk about him. I talked about Overshone and Nealon. Golston had 29 snaps. Damone Clark at linebacker only had 26 snaps. It was more, I think, maybe I just like the way that whatever Zimmer's doing, he knows who the guys need to, because Damone Clark kind of played a backup role, right? Overshone had I think he had double his snaps. So it looks like Overshone's really the guy that really has Zimmer's eye, at least in this matchup, right?
I mean, I know for you, it was pretty much like the
right
first
away.
Defensive play. You immediately were like, oh, wow, look at Overshone. And, well, he caught our eye the whole game, so. Yeah,
right away, too. Now, Nick Vigil, number 41, practice squad elevation, he played 1 less snap than Damone Clark.
And again, he stepped in when Kendricks had to come out for exhaustion, right? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, he did step in there. And he did a decent job as an elevated player. I think he'll eventually be on the 53, but he was out there 1 snap less than Damone Clark. That's my point I'm trying to say. That's how little Damone Clark played and how much Nick Vigil played. So, Mukuamu had some 16 snaps. Jordan, like I talked about Jordan Phillips and Joseph. Marquise Bell, only 4 snaps out there. You know what I mean? So, you see how the other Cowboys are kind of using their players. Now, Any quick comment? Any thoughts outside of what I already discussed from you or from the chat about the snap count? Not again. This is one game.
Wiseman27 said, "Overshown hitting Watson was a sight to behold."
I agree. Make sure you check out the short where we uploaded very recently.
Oh, so a nice little discussion back and forth here. So,
well, all right. I mean, I can go deep. I can continue doing my my thing here, baby.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, because we're talking again defense. I could talk about the offensive kind of time. What do you call it? The snap count for the offense?
Yeah.
Let me just say real quick. Our offensive line, Guyton, Steele, and both tackles played the entire game. I'm talking about our rookie.
Yeah.
You know, with Terrence Steele, played the entire game, all 100% of the snaps, all 63 offensive snaps. Tyler Smith, 62, with Cooper Beebe, the rookie, had one less snap. The last snap, it was Lindstrom came out there. So the point I'm trying to say here is that our entire offensive line basically played out there. Zach Martin, he also had 62 with Dak Prescott, snap-wise, 98% of the snaps. So the offensive line, Dak Prescott played this. They're like suctioned together. They play pretty much the same amount. Now, after that, Brandon Cooks, and I know that you talked about Kendricks on defense, but Brandon Cooks had an injury situation. He played 50 snaps, 79% of the snaps he played out there, while CeeDee Lamb played 45. He played 5 less snaps than CeeDee Lamb did. Wait, CeeDee Lamb played 5 less snaps than Brandon Cooks did. So they both played, right? You know, Brandon Cooks had a couple extra reps in there, which is understandable when you consider, even with Brandon Cooks getting banged up in this game and coming back, CeeDee Lamb, you know, was still kind of acclimating back in a way,
yeah,
right?
he did kind of, and again, we'll get to it in a little bit, but I think he did kind of jokingly admit to being a bit, you know, he's like, oh, I guess I am a little bit rusty. But, you know, he said he feels confident he'll be good to go for the next game.
Yeah, so CeeDee, who are you talking about, CeeDee?
Yeah.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, he's going to be good, but he got hit a couple times, made some great catches out there. He played a lot. Tolbert played 42 snaps, 67%. Ferguson got hurt, but he played 62% of the game. Zeke, Rico Dowdle, and Hunter Lipke, they all were right in the same area. So you're seeing how we're using our running backs, right? So we got Zeke with 51% of the snaps, Dowdle 44, and Lipke 32. Lipke only had 20 snaps. I was surprised to see him with such little snaps. He seemed to play more. He's going to play more in these upcoming games. Get ready. And then you had, you know, the tight ends, Schoonmaker and Spanford, both have 19 snaps, 30% of the snaps each, while, you know, Jalen Brooks and Turpin, they were the next two on the list here. Brooks had 21% of the snaps. Turpin, only 6 snaps. Only 10% of the snaps, which I want to see more. More snaps from Turpin, you know, from the offense, from McCarthy's side.
Yeah.
I like to see more Turpin. And that's, you know, the rest of the guys, you know, Vaughn had 2 snaps. You know, little man, Deuce Vaughn. And then the offensive lineman for that last snap with Cooper Rush all had 1 snap. So that's the offensive snap count. Lipke was the only one that we're kind of going to see his numbers go up, I think.
So, I mean, real quick, the man Seabass here is having a great little discussion there with Mr. Aztec Aguilar. I just want to say I appreciate that. But Raul said the Saints offense is going to be a good challenge for our defense.
Yep. And, you know, I'm curious to see how, because I watched some of that Saints game just to see the recap. I'm going to watch it one more time before our Friday preview stream. But Carolina really sucks. Like, Xavier Woods is there, and he blew coverage like 3 times, and it led to touchdowns. Like, we're not going to blow coverage like that.
Yeah.
And if we do, then they'll get us. But we're not going to do that. And I don't think Derek Carr is going to have as much time as he did against the Panthers with us.
Yeah.
Like, he had a lot of time with the Panthers to throw that ball. He ain't going to have that with us. Trust me. Even though their offensive line should be healthier than the Browns and maybe better than the Browns. So we'll talk about that for Friday. So let me continue this here, if you don't mind.
Of course.
To running backs. Because, you know, we had Zeke leading the way here. And I will say that our run game was not great. We didn't run for many yards in this game. We didn't really throw for many. The Browns defense, people keep forgetting. Like, we think we're just going to run crazy. We got 33 points, and there were a lot of field goals at the end, a lot of, like, 46 yards of total offense in the second half. So we played it weird at the end. That second half was weird to me. I did not like it. In our run game, they're not do much. Because the run game was just kind of, I would say, struggling against the Browns' defense, offensive, defensive front.
It wasn't the worst thing ever, but it didn't really do anything.
Yeah,
right? Never managed any kind of like explosive runs or.
The as far as our offense, we did not really get many big runs. I will say Zeke had a couple bright spots, a couple nice plays. He had that touchdown run, but even though we struggled against a very strong Browns defensive line, Zeke had a 81.5 receiving grade. That's third out of all running backs. So receiving wise, Zeke is right now already worth it. You already got him for short yardage and goal line stuff. So Zeke may just be worth it with that 15 right there on his chest. Rico Dowdle. Listen, this is crazy because you think it's the other way around. You think Rico's going to have the catching. Zeke had the catching, third in the NFL. Rico Dowdle, 83.3 was his pass block grade. So that's second. Second best in the NFL at running back. Pass blocking. So again, it's like Rico Dowdle is the better pass blocker. Zeke is the better receiver after week 1. Again, just keep it, let's keep it real. But
just surprising that Dowdle, managed to earn that accolade.
Yeah, week 1, he's second best when it comes to blocking, which is big. It means he protected Dak Prescott pretty well this game. Now, I will say, the Saints, they only allowed 2.9 yards per carry in week 1 against the Panthers. The Panthers don't have much of a running game. They were down by a lot. They threw the ball the rest of the game. Yeah. So there was not much, running the ball against this Saints defense. But, the Saints defense is pretty good. I'm going to tell you guys that right now off the bat. So we'll know more on Friday. And the Saints defense is going to be good at stopping the run. So Saints are going to be a tough game as far as this part of it when it comes to the running the ball. The Saints on defense allowed under 3 yards, 2.9 yards per carry in week 1. So we got to find a way for the Cowboys to hopefully improve against a good, tough Saints defensive front line, like the Browns, who had a very tough defensive front line. But let's talk about that O-line, the offensive line, guys. And to me, I'm just going to put Tyler Smith up here representing the offensive line. But, we ran and threw behind this offensive line. Basically, the best and worst offensive lines in protecting the quarterback from pressure in week 1. Dolphins were number 1. Saints were number 2. Keep that in mind, 15.4% as far as pressure allowed. Steelers were third at 20%, tied with the Cowboys at 20%. The Cowboys' offensive line only allowed 20% of pressure. That's tied for third in the NFL right now. Again, only one game. Bengals were 5th. But my point is,
it's more a testament to how well our rookies held up against, like you said, quite the challenge.
Very a top defensive, not just defense in general. They had a very good defense. They have a very good defensive line specifically. So, again, Cowboys did great. Most pressure allowed, the Broncos, Patriots, Browns, Vikings, and Eagles, by the way, allowing a lot of pressure. Ooh, I can't wait till we get to those guys and attack them. But anyways, the point is, our offensive line in the passing game only allowed 20% pressure. Not sacks or hits on quarterback, pressure, which is third best right now in the NFL, tied. So specifically, let's look at some rookies. And you're not going to... I'll talk about the rookies in a minute. But first, if I'm not mistaken, we have a back-to-back here.
Yes, we do.
Two $2 hollers. One from Skeptical Fan and one from, as you can see, Marco Sepien. Baby, what do these two ballers have to say right here at MCF?
Well, Skeptical Fan said with his $2 holler, didn't the Cowboys struggle on third downs too?
When it came to offensively in the second half, big time. And Dak missed a couple bad ones there, in my opinion. That went to Brandon Cooks that was wide open. So, yeah, they definitely missed on a couple third downs. Mm-hmm. Cowboys, I thought, was not just on Dak or on this guy or that guy. To me, it was more play call. If you realized those first downs that didn't work out, which I understand we're throwing a lot on first down, which I don't mind, but you realize those first downs that didn't work out, the second down we ran the ball, and if they didn't give us 4 or 5 yards, and usually they did not, we were going with a 3rd and 9 and a 3rd and 8. And that put us in bad situations and a lot of dump downs and a lot of they had us covered. They have a good defense. Dak didn't want to make the bad decision and throw a pick, so went with the easy, kind of dump down and then punt. So very just did not like that set of plays, and when the Cowboys were on third down in the second half specifically. But I will also say the Browns have a damn good defense. I got to reiterate that. So I think that also played into it. Yeah. So I hear you, skeptical fan. But let me know those numbers if you have them. Now we have Marco Seppian also dropping a $2 holler. What did he have to say?
He said, "We still don't have a reliable running game. Thank you, Jerry Jones."
Yeah, I mean, what do you have to think about that? Even tough defense
my
to run against.
My question is, do you consider Dalvin Cook reliable, or is there reliable, in the sense of because obviously right where we're at this moment, Dalvin Cook is not the backup, but he is the man waiting in the wings. So doesn't seem like the Cowboys have any interest in making any other moves there. So.
Well, yeah. What can we do about the running game?
I'm just saying,
Nothing.
so outside of, we have to find that reliability with the guys that we already have. So.
Well,
Dalvin
Cook.
I don't think our run game is going to be anything to write home about. I just think it's going to be average, solid, but consistent.
I'm going to throw in there.
That's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to throw in there real quick to answer a skeptical's question there. I guess, I'm sorry, Marco Seppian's question about a reliable running game. Well, I do blame Jerry Jones for not doing a better job, whether through the draft or through free agency. My only thing is this. The Browns have a damn good defensive team, pass and run, but they're really good against the run. They have a really good defensive front four. So that's the thing, though. So, Mark, I think that we have to think about the fact that, all right, and same thing with skeptical fan. I think this defense is very good for the Browns. We'll see how the Saints have a good defense too, but there's going to be teams that are a lot worse defenses than what we're facing these first couple of weeks. So let's see. This is a good test. Let's keep it going for the offense. We get 33 points a game. I think we all can accept that, right? I think we're all happy with 33 points a game. Did the defense score any touchdowns? No, we didn't get any touchdowns on the defense, right? We got one punt return. So, what was it? 27 points of offense. We get that, we win every week, guys, pretty much, right? I mean, with this, we get 27 points, we win. So that's offensive points I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's hard to figure a scenario where we'd lose.
Well, I'm saying with offensive points, 27 plus any kind of defensive points or any kind of, kickoff, punt returns, kickoff returns, all of that combined with our defense and the way that we should not our defense should not be allowing 27 points in a game very often. So we should win when we score 27 offensive points. That's what our offense did. Okay, I see Marco Seppian. By the way, with that drop, we're down to lucky number 13. That's what Cat 52 has on that stream, boss. Holding on. He's hanging on.
Woo.
Hanging on. But big shout out to Marco Seppian dropping that 5 on it. What did he have to say as he's currently in first place on the overall board?
O-line and Overshown looked good. Third round rookie, I didn't see him, but the rookie defensive edge was okay at best. I still think a starting running back in the middle, in the third round would have been better than a backup linebacker.
Mark, I think that, while I hear what you're saying and I agree with almost everything you're saying, I think the linebacker situation we got to wait on because I think that we could get a good running back in any draft. I think a linebacker like Lou Afau, the kind of guy they were looking for, they specifically liked his traits. So to me, it's either or. I don't think it's a make or break as long as these other guys pan out. And like you said, they're kind of panning out, right? So we'll talk about, I talked about him earlier, but Marshawn Nealon, the second-round defensive edge rusher, number 94, he actually played 44 snaps, which was the same as Overshown, as you mentioned there. Overshown played a great game. And, he was our third rounder. I'm just trying to say, these guys, I think Nealon's going to be a very important player for us in this rotation, specifically because we lost Sam Williams to injury, So I think that's going to be, something I do, agree
nice that we can at least
there.
Agree that the O-line looked not just good, but surprisingly good.
Very good. Although running game wasn't great. Is that the running backs or is that the Browns second level guys. Look,
it's probably a little from column A, a little from column B, but the point is that even our run game will improve, as our O-line continues to improve and get more settled amongst themselves too. So.
Well, I agree. Listen, when it comes to rookies, and I know it's Tyler Smith, but I'm just going to talk about number 60, Tyler Guyton. Actually, you know what? I'll just bring both guys up because I want to talk about the rookies real quick because they deserve some. The offensive line rookies, Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton, deserve extra talk. Cooper Beebe did great. Tyler Guyton did great, especially when you look at the fact that who did he go up against the whole game? Myles Garrett. So when you look at that, you really have to even add some points to how good he did when I talk about our rookie, Tyler Guyton. And you'll see what I mean here in a minute when I can find it. I'll bring up the kind of the rookie information here for you guys.
All good.
I think we have a drop here. I just saw here Mark.
Yeah, so we actually have two of them.
Oh.
I don't know if they're going to maybe,
there it is.
Cancel each other out. We'll have to see.
All right, we'll see. I see them I see on my side here. Marco Seppian and Skeptical Fan.
That's right. And thank you so much, Mark. He just dropped a $5 holler. Oh. Skeptical Fan A2.
Oh, there it is. I saw both of them hit, so I don't know if they did it one at a time or box each other out. But yes, there's the Mark 5 on it. And the Skeptical J-Lu 2.
There we go. So real quick, just because Skeptical Fans is more straightforward, he said, what's the injury list for the Saints looking like?
Well, we're going to touch on that to finish the show tonight. But Marshawn Lattimore, their cornerback, not looking great. We'll talk about that. That'll be the last thing we leave you with tonight before we get you to the Friday show and what to look forward to between now and Friday and the injuries that I think you're going to be seeing to watch for both sides, obviously, for us and for the Saints.
And Mahalo Marco Seppian, he said, you think Cooks and Zeke are scaring teams? Hell no. Browns have a good defense, but they were gassed. 3 and outs, courtesy of Deshaun. Reminding me of the Jets last year.
A little bit, but again, we can always find problems. Some of the reason, what was some of the reason they were gassed? Do you remember why? Not just 3 and outs by Deshaun. It was also the fact that the Cowboys were, in the first half plowing them pretty well. Whether we were doing great on the ground running the ball or not, our offensive line was being very, very good. Again, only 20% of the time getting back to the quarterback. I know they could have been a little tired towards the end of the game, but
yeah.
Did you see Micah in the end of that game? He shouldn't have been playing. He was so gassed and tired.
Although once they won the game, he found enough energy to run out of the tunnel.
I know, but both sides are gassed. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, I understand what he's saying, but I think that we can't. Like everything's there's always going to be an issue. You know what I mean? Always going to be a problem. So look, let me just go with this because I do want to talk about our offensive line. Or wait, no, don't we have? Is that both comments there? Is that all the comments?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure we hit everybody up. And yes, it's Mark still in first, Skeptical in second, Jet Lee 44 in third currently on our leaderboard, kicking off a new week. Oh yeah, and Cat 52, he's got that Aikman 8 away from Stream. Someone could take over that Stream boss. Be careful. We can't have any of our enemies take over that spot. Any of the we don't want a Saint fan floating around taking that down. So, anyways, let me just go through this. Number 60 and number 56, Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe. Starting with Tyler Guyton, number 60, our first round pick, going up against who? Myles Garrett the entire game. You look at the pass block win rate when it comes to, again, passing situations. Tyler Guyton going up against Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith. All right, Zadarius Smith got a sack, by the way. Not against Guyton, but I'm saying he got a sack. When you look at the pass block win rates for the rookie tackles that were drafted in this draft, Talise Fuaga, 94%. He won 94% of the time. 15, basically, I think 15 out of 60 times. But the point is, 94% was his pass block win rate. So he was locking it down. Second is Tyler Guyton. 36 of 60. The point is 84% is where 84% of the time he was winning the pass block win rate there.
I mean,
talk
about having a fantastic debut.
guys drafted up ahead of him, like Joe Alt, 79%. You had Kingsley Suamataya, 69%. J.C. Latham, 65%. But 84%, the key for me is this. Second, whatever, 84% against Myles Garrett, mainly. And Zadarius Smith. That's better than Fuaga and Alt and any of these other guys because they didn't go up against someone named Myles Garrett. So when you look at Tyler Guyton specifically against Myles Garrett, he had 4 pressures on Dak. So I mean, he got 4 pressures when he was up against Tyler Guyton, which is expected, right?
Yeah.
He had 1 sack. He did get a sack on Dak against Guyton. I know he hit him that one time where it was basically a lateral. I guess it counted as a fumble. I don't know if they count as a fumble because it's a backwards pass. But either way, he got 1 sack, 4 pressures, and he had 13 matchups one-on-one with Guyton. Again, I will say Myles Garrett played pretty fucking well against Tyler Guyton. So he showed up somewhat, but he was not dominating. He did not dominate Tyler Guyton. Tyler Guyton, to me, I don't say dominated him, but held a guy of his prestige and his level, held him down and kept him, at a very, very manageable level for us. 2 of those pressures, by the way, were less than 2.5 seconds out of those 4 pressures. So 13 matchups one-on-one, 4 pressures, 1 sack. That's pretty good, but he wasn't like dominating. It wasn't like a domination from Myles Garrett, as we said. But to start the season, your career, against the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, in your first start, giving up only 4 pressures and 1 sack, you could not ask for more. So, I think Tyler Guyton, fantastic job against a fantastic player in this first game for him.
I mean, like I said, couldn't ask for a better debut there.
Yeah.
And, really looking forward to seeing how the O-line continues to kind of shape up as the team moves forward and keeps progressing and getting more of that experience.
Number 56, the other rookie I want to quickly touch on. Now, we know, Zach Martin didn't have a great game. He allowed a sack. Terrence Steele played every snap, did great. I didn't hear anything, really. I think Darius Smith did get 1 sack against him, maybe. Tyler Smith did. I didn't see much from Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
He never does anything wrong, it seems. So, we talked about Tyler Guyton. What about Cooper Beebe, number 56? Now, we know Zach Martin, he'll be back to normal. He'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But Cooper Beebe in the inside, did he do okay? Guys, just so you guys know, and again, remember, this is basically when Cooper Beebe started winning the job. This is the Rams preseason game, and he's over there as the center with Trey Lance. It doesn't matter really who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
But you can see, again, doing a great job, most of the time doing a great job, whether it was blocking, passing off assignments and players. Cooper Beebe yesterday, starting basically every play but one, the last one, had 36 pass snaps, like passing plays, right? He snapped. He allowed 0 pressures. 0 pressures against guys like Dalvin Tomlinson. And, sometimes Myles Garrett with a stunt or Zadarius Smith with a stunt inside. Linebackers blitzing. Guys coming in.
Same thing. Just how freaking impressive is that?
No pressures on 36 passing plays. Not 1 pressure, not 1 sack, not 1 quarterback hit allowed by Cooper Beebe. Now that's domination against a very good defensive line, right? So 3rd round pick, Cooper Beebe. 1st round pick, Tyler Guyton. A great start, I think, for both of these rookies, right?
Yeah,
I would say so.
Again, 11 out of 10, so far so good. And, obviously they're not the only rookies who had a great start, but, they make up a vast majority of why we were in this position to win in the first place. So, I think they did a great job protecting Dak. Obviously, he still took some hits and took some sacks, but, I think we're all a little nervous moving on from Tyron Smith in any official way. So, it's just nice to see what that the future is bright. when you have Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe.
Yeah, I agree. And, again, we talked about mainly these two guys in the passing area, domination. Mm-hmm. But in the run side of things, whether it was them or, the running backs or the play calls or the whatever it was, the run game was not as good, even with the blocking skills they got. You know what I'm saying? The passing, though, I will say, Tyler Guyton, fantastic, just like advertised. Remember, his big thing was pass blocking in college. He's doing it here in the NFL, obviously, with someone like Garrett. And Cooper Beebe was a solid across the board in the run and the pass, but, got to see him dominate in the pass as a center for the first time in his career, in his life, really, right? At center in the NFL, doing great against a very tough Browns defensive front. So I'm kind of done with the offensive side for the Cowboys. Any comments on the offensive side, real quick? A comment or two.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I read this one, but just in case, Ronan the Voice said for a rookie, he did fantastic, and that's on the job training.
Agreed, and that's him also. We talked about him after every practice last year through Kansas State. He would practice after practice. He would work on snaps. He went to the O-line masterminds, and he worked on center because he knew that's what teams were going to look at for him to play center. And then look, it paid off. That hard work paid off. And then on the job with the Cowboys, got those snaps down well, calmed down. Great first week against a great defensive front.
So, rolling back a little bit more, let me see here. Raul said Guyton held his own.
Yep.
GM said, well, the run game did better than it looked.
At the times when we needed them, and especially in the first half, it worked. We went away from it. We were supposed to. I would have liked to see us run more with Zeke in that third quarter, in the fourth quarter. We ran. We would throw on first downs and third downs, and I just didn't. I don't know. I just thought we were predictably throwing, getting stuck and not running time off the clock and throwing the ball 2 out of 3 plays every time and punting. That was scheme more than it is rushing issues, in my opinion. You know what I mean? There's more predictability than it is the bad run game. I want to see more from the run game, and then we need more because right now Deuce Vaughn and Lipke as our 3 and 4 running back is not nothing to write home about. So let's see if Dalvin Cook gets in the mix and maybe we get something from him there. We'll see.
So, and then Seabass also said Guyton and Beebe, man, they did better than projected as rookies. Let's be honest with ourselves.
I agree. 100% agree. And you see them both here on this play. I mean, this is in preseason, but you can see the domination in the regular season. So far, week 1, first game against the Browns. So, anyways, on to the defensive side of the ball. And then we're going to get to the wife here. I don't know if there's anything you needed to jump in with or whatever, but when it comes to your side of like the news part of stuff. So I know you have some stuff that I know you had to throw some stuff in. So I'm not sure, I'm letting you handle that. I don't know where everything falls on that. Good. So when we look at the defensive side of things, really, let's be real. To me, the defensive side starts with Mike Zimmer. Yeah, you guys saw him say Micah Parsons. Mike Zimmer. It's amazing. Let me just bring this up real quick. This is important on defense. It's amazing how much better we look now than the last couple of years on defense against motion and play action. Those two things right there, guys, have been things we've struggled with in the past. Cowboys,
again, any kind of movement seemed to befuddle us.
Yeah, and that was under Quinn. Zimmer's defense, whatever he's done, they've learned it, and that's truly learning on the job and on the fly. And it comes to more movement and play action and deceptive stuff. Our defense is also deceptive, and as long as you know what you're doing on defense, that will help you, confuse offenses. So I think right now these adjustments against in the pass game, when you have whether it's run or pass against motion or in the pass against play action, and that's run or pass when it comes to motion. Play action, of course, only it's passing the ball. These adjustments by Zimmer and his defensive backs, he's a defensive back specialist. It's complex. If they know it, though, and we get a little rush, it's going to be hard to kind of decipher what we're doing with Zimmer. A lot of it also, of course, why did the Browns do? Why did we do so good against the Browns as a defensive in a whole full sense? Because at a certain point in the game, they had to throw the ball over and over again, so it's predictable. That will help our defensive stats. It'll help us look better. I'm just being real here. we did great, but you got to remember, as the game went to the third and fourth quarter, we just pinned our ears back and attacked. And I told you guys that's when you're going to see the interception, and we got to pick for Trayvon Diggs, right? So, the Cowboys basically, I'm going to say this, because the Browns were always kind of throwing the ball towards the third and fourth quarter, the Cowboys played almost 90% of our snaps with nickel personnel. And again, nickel means 3 corners, 2 safeties. Last year we played big nickel, which was 3 safeties, 2 corners with Dan Quinn. But this year it's regular nickel. We played at 90% against the Browns, mainly because we knew they were going to throw some more. By the middle of the second quarter, into the third quarter, second half, we were nickel pretty much the rest of the game. So when you look at that side of things, and I talk about Micah Parsons playing all but one snap in this game, I think he played 65 total snaps. But 6 of those snaps by Micah Parsons, and this is Mike Zimmer again, he put him at off-ball linebacker. Now, I'll say this, even as an off-ball linebacker, he was always blitzing, attacking. I think once or twice he did drop back in coverage and fucked up Deshaun Watson's, kind of aim on third down. Because everybody thought Micah's coming to blitz. Micah dropped back in coverage. Chauncey Golston went in. Kendricks went in. I think Kendricks got the sack on that play. So that is the way a mastermind thinks, like Zimmer in that kind of situation. Using Micah in that way, those 6 or 7 off the ball snap plays, he was still coming. They were still either the fear of coming or they use him in his disguise. When you look at the pressures from the Cowboys, and this is Zimmer led, but we all know who dominated this game. Even if he didn't even dominate the game in as much as he could have and should have, Micah Parsons. He could have had an extra 2-3 sacks in this game. An extra 1 or 2 sacks on top of the one he already had. When you look at the pressures in the NFL in Week 1, Micah Parsons was number 1 in the NFL. He had 9 pressures in this game, just on his own. Pressures on the quarterback. DeMarcus Lawrence was second in the NFL, not in the Cowboys. Second in the Cowboys, but second in the NFL. He had 8 pressures. A lot of that is because of Micah Parsons. Oh yeah, by the way, and I don't know if Mark Hovsepian's in the house, but I do want to shout out the fact that I got to give a shout out to number 94, Marshawn Nealon, the rookie, second round pick. Even though he only played, he played a lot of snaps, 44 snaps. He's the Sam Williams now. So he had 6 pressures. Again, I'm not saying he's great. I'm saying it's Micah providing this. And the Zimmer scheme is why you're seeing so much pressure from everybody. But in the top 10, baby, he was 10th. In the top 10 in the NFL, 3 of our Cowboy pass rushers are, 3 are in the top 10 in pressures. Number 1, number 2, and number 10.
We're giving Zimmer quite a bit of fun.
Flowers?
Yeah, quite a bit of pieces to play with, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just goes to show that we obviously do have the talent and the skill ability to manipulate things and make them go the way we want to go. So
with the Zimmer defensive scheme and the Micah pressure, you get guys like DeMarcus Lawrence getting 8 pressures in the game. You get guys like Marshawn Nealon, a rookie who played half of the game. He played 2/3 of the game, but Marshawn Nealon, he was basically taking on the Sam Williams role. Played a lot and played pretty good for. He could get, let me just say, he relied up a lot on his long arms and that kind of stuff. He'll have to learn that. He'll develop into something more. He didn't do out of this world great, but he did for his rookie game there, first game ever in his career, he played very well. So, Marshawn Nealon, DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, top 3 of those, 3 in the top 10 in pressures in the NFL, individual player-wise.
Yeah.
So, great stuff there. Now, Micah played a little bit of... he played a little bit at linebacker. A little off-ball linebacker there. But of course, who was our main linebacker? The middle linebacker. You talked about his injury situation. Eric Kendricks.
Yeah.
He had a monster game, guys, against the Browns. He had 9 tackles on his own. LV had 9, maybe 4 times in his career. I don't know. He had 3.
Very impressive.
he had 3 pass rushes, like 3 pass rushing plays where he got 2 sacks out of those 3 pass rushing plays. So that's Zimmer using him properly. Again, the way Zimmer uses him, the way he knows the defense, the way we using Micah. It opened up things to get other guys involved, like Eric Kendricks getting those sacks. And, he had 100% pressure rate, meaning all 3 times he pass rushed, he got pressure or sacked the quarterback. So, again, he got 2 sacks. 1 was a pressure. Eric Kendricks with 3 pass rushes, 100% pressure rate, 2 sacks, 9 tackles. Don't forget, Micah knocked the ball up in the air, and what did he do? He got the pick.
Yeah.
Got the interception for him. And he only, again, listen to this, in coverage, when he was in coverage, he allowed 1 catch on 4 targets. And that catch went for only 4 yards. So what I'm trying to say is, Eric Kendricks, guys, fantastic opening, veteran, right? He's a veteran, but a fantastic opening game, really heading and leading this defense through Zimmer's defensive scheme, through Kendricks on the field. Great job by Eric Kendricks. This is only the 3rd time the Cowboys had in franchise history had a player get 2 sacks and an interception in a single game. Only the 3rd time in our history. So Eric Kendricks in his first game is already 3rd best in history. The 3rd time anybody's ever done this feat. 2 sacks and an interception in a game. So crazy numbers. The other guys that did it, Tommy Haynes and Jim Jeffcoat. I remember Jim Jeffcoat. So anyways, so you're looking at linebackers. We touched on Micah's 6 snaps from there. Kendricks, the middle linebacker. And you guys know about Overshown. Overshown just out there truly just, honestly, guys, you got to watch that short. The explosiveness he has, the power he hits you with, it's incredible. And I'm so happy because we knew he had that. It was more about, will he have that after the ACL tear? The answer is a resounding yes. Overshown, outstanding yesterday in basically every single facet, every single way. He made an impact as a run defender. He stopped the run multiple times. In coverage, he was very good in coverage. Quarterback spy. You remember that hit on Deshaun Watson that popped in there last week? That was Deshaun Watson, number 13, just exploding into him, imploding Deshaun Watson into pieces. So a great part about Overshown, guys, was the way he processed things on that field. He's a rookie in a sense, like a redshirt freshman, but learning the system that first year and whatever he went through, learning it in his rookie year. This is his second year, his first game out there, but he already had kind of a head start than most first-time guys on the field wearing that star.
Oh, yeah.
So because he already knew things. Again, the processing of the plays, the way he saw things happen, he was immediately there. That's a special natural talent. You just can't teach that. The guy has to kind of have that.
You can improve it, but you can't teach it.
There's ways.
You just said the same thing. You can't really teach that. So.
Well, you can't. What I'm trying to say is you can improve it, but you can improve it to an extent. But in teaching it, it's like
he's got a very natural sense.
Comes naturally. That's the thing. Like he has a nose for the ball, instinct. So again, he processed fantastically. He was constantly reading his keys, quickly getting to if it was a run fit, he was quickly going there, and he was in the right spot to allow no holes for the running back to squeak through and try to burst. Nothing. So by doing these things consistently, it also consistently put him in a position to make plays, and he did that. You look at the highest graded linebackers. Listen to this: of all linebackers, this is not about rookies or second year guys. Highest graded linebackers PFF wise. You guys watched Fred Warner yesterday. He was freaking incredible. 92.6 rating for him. Logan Wilson from the Bengals, 92.5 rating. And then third in the NFL, DeMarvion Overshown. 88.6, close to elite play from Overshown in the first time he's actually repping that star in a regular season game for the Cowboys. Third round pick last year, now in his second year with the Cowboys. So Overshown, obviously, doing a great job doing his thing there. So let me finish up here with the last part, the back end of things, where you have He's back. Yeah, guys. Trayvon Diggs. Like I said, like we talked about it, and you saw it. And if you saw it in the short, I'm not sure if some people may have seen it or not. But he's back, guys. Of course, he had his pick, his interception. It kind of went through the receiver's hand. I think Judy's hands. But versus the Browns receivers, when he was in coverage against Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and DJ Moore, he was attacked with 10 targets. Only 10 times he was attacked. He did allow 6 catches. Only 23 yards allowed. Of course, no touchdowns. He did have the interception. And again, 10% tight window percentage. That is the lowest among the Cowboy team in all of our defensive backs and safeties and corners. So he allowed very little room for the quarterback to throw the ball. And again, they had to make it happen with it. Basically 60% completion percentage, not great. But he got a pick. It was very difficult passes to get through, and I think that let him keep trying Trayvon Diggs. He gonna get them picks. Trust me on that. So is he back? I think Trayvon Diggs showed that he's back. And then when you look at the other side of the coin, which is another rookie, number 21, Kalen Carson. Look, he could have been a little better, possibly, right? But as a rookie, you couldn't really be better than this. You know what I mean? He allowed that first catch on against Amari Cooper. And after that, there was a penalty should have been called on him. They didn't call it. But after that non-call on the penalty, it was like lockdown city for Kalen Carson. He only allowed one more catch to Amari Cooper. When you look at Kalen Carson, he basically clamped up, locked down Amari Cooper on Sunday. Let me explain. Against Amari Cooper, and all the times they went head-to-head, he only allowed 2 catches to Amari. One of them was the first catch of the game there. Mm-hmm. So he allowed 2 catches the entire game for 16 yards. This is only against Amari Cooper. He allowed 2 catches for 16 yards, and of those other targets, he actually had 2 pass breakups. Kalen Carson broke up 2 passes against, that was thrown against him when he was covering Amari Cooper. So, great job by Kalen Carson. Was he a 5th-round draft pick? Great job by him stepping up as a starter, although there's still some worry sometimes. Such a young guy getting thrown in there. Could have been worse. A couple of slip-ups there. He did miss an interception right through his hands. That would definitely increased his ability, his shine coming out of this first game. But I like what he's doing. I think he's playing very well. We call him the seatbelt. He obviously was showing it there. So, great job by Kalen Carson. Any thoughts maybe from you on our defensive backs, Trayvon Diggs, Kalen Carson's job, the linebackers, anything?
Love to see, our rookie, Kalen Carson, just doing so well. I think he handled his own NFL debut as well as he could have. Although, I will say one thing. I know you pointed this out while we were watching the game, but he was very lucky. He got away with a lot of near misses when it came to the penalty side of things real quick. But, again, how can you be upset or mad about basically anything that this defense did? Yeah. Everything that we have to say are just like little things, little details, and I fully expect that to hopefully continue forward.
Yeah, same here. By the way, shout out to the chat. Azteca Aguilar, we got Ready Red in the house. Asmodeus, Roy Strasner, much love to you, sir. Glad to see you in here. Seabass, of course. Traveling Fools, boo to the Finns. What do you think about Tyreek Hill there, Traveling Fools? I thought he was mistreated, in my opinion. That's just me. The escalated shit. Anyways, Asmodeus is here. We got Joseph Mukuamu. Hell yeah. Hey, Mukuamu actually played a lot in this game. I talked about his snaps. I think he had like 24 snaps in this game. So I like what Mukuamu's being. He's the slot corner. He can also play safety. He actually started at safety, in a sense, started off at safety with the Cowboys. But, the defense looked fantastic. There's really nothing bad you could say about it. And I feel great about this defense as a whole. Cheese Louise in the house. Much love to you. Even it's the Browns. Don't move the goalpost. Because the Browns top defense. The Browns were ranked higher than us. The
second that the game started, everyone and their mom was like, "Oh no, it's the Browns."
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I keep going, baby. I mean,
that's literally it. what more do you want me to say? There's not much more to add.
Yeah, no, I thought I didn't mean to cut you off, but as I look at some of the comments here, I see Joseph Mukuamu, who I think is part of the Mukuamu, crew there.
I mean, you already.
He said that no, not this one. Playing the boundary corner now too. So again, looks like Mukuamu moving around as boundary corner. I know he's listed as the slot on the depth chart. When you look at the, at the this past week one depth chart, and again, you got to take this with a grain of salt because depth charts they change. Depth charts are
they're
versatile.
Supposed to change.
Yeah, they're versatile.
Depending
right?
on, obviously, some matchups and things like that can maybe change a few things, mainly injury situations.
Right. So you're seeing Jordan Lewis, right? He's never going to play on the outside. Mukuamu can do, of course, he's done safety, but he can play. They got him listed as the backup nickel corner to Jordan Lewis, which he did a great job, I thought, when he came in a couple of years ago in the last couple of games of the year into the playoffs. But it was more about the the ability for him to play outside, it's whether it's the outside cornerback, the slot cornerback, nickel corner, I should say, or the safety spot. I think that we have. That's one of the reasons why Mukuamu is always gonna, been making this team, earning his spot here. So, the whole team played great on defense. Kind of echoing what you said, baby, and really like that. It's impressive to me. I think Kendricks is a big part of the fact that this defense knows where everybody needs to be at and at all times to make this disguising, deceptive defense work to the way it did against the Browns, who, again, struggling with the offensive tackles. Deshaun Watson with his own struggles. No Nick Chubb. So, of course, they had their issues, but the Cowboy defense did not give them a chance to breathe. And that's the point. Now, here's the part, Cowboys, contracts. I know that the Joneses were speaking, and when you deal with the Cowboy front office, I mean, they're always clown show to us. We talked about we feel about this, but Cowboys want to open up a little more room on the salary cap.
Yeah.
They actually reworked the contract today of right tackle, starting tackle. I mean, coming back last year, not the greatest year, but he played every snap last year off of that ACL. Terrence Steele. So with the reworking of his contract. It's already written into the deal, guys, so it's not like any kind of, this is a big deal. This is something we knew was going to probably, if the Cowboys want it to happen, the front office can do this. It opens up $4.5 million in this year salary cap space. So we're going to talk about Dak Prescott's salary here, and I'm going to tell you that every Cowboy player, if they play this game, and I think that's Micah Parsons kind of gets it, if you play the game, the waiting game with the Cowboy front office, you'll get paid by them, and if you don't get paid by them, you'll get paid somewhere else. Especially if you're like a top player, right? So Dak's contract, along with the reworking deal of Terrence Steele and CeeDee Lamb's contract, puts the Cowboys right now at over $20 million in salary cap room. If we wanted to make a move for someone, the Cowboys could definitely do that. So that whole bullshit from the front office about the pie, that's a lie, as we say. We know about the rollover, the years forward, and actually makes sense for the Cowboys to roll money forward. You actually get a percentage, worth more of your money that you're actually using if you push that money forward. When it comes to the cap, and the cap will always be rising. So, unless COVID happens again. So the point here is, with the Terrence Steele move, the Dak Prescott deal, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, the CeeDee Lamb deal, which we talked about last week, over $20 million this year's cap, which, again, you think we're going to use this for this year? The answer I'm going to tell you right now is going to be hell no. There's like $4 or $5 million that maybe the Cowboys may use for something. $4 to $5 million, guys, not $20 million. The rest of that 20 or plus money, guess where that's going? Rolled over the next year. For these contracts of Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and we'll see about Micah Parsons. But the point is, when you look at Dak's contract, the details were released today. I know the Joneses and others spoke about Dak's contract.
They did.
So when you look at the fact that Dak's contract right now, right, age 31 this year, you're looking at his base salary, $1.25 million, guys. That's it. But his cap number hit this year, $43.3 million. When you look at this, next year the cap hit $89.2 million. That's the cap number. That's going to be reworked, guys, and that's going to be pushed forward. But that's the way it's at right now. $68 million the next year, $62 the next year, and $77 the final year. But don't get freaked out. Only 2024 and 2025, those are the salary. Those are the only 2 years that are fully guaranteed. After 2025, the Cowboys cannot push the button for his contract and take the loss. And after that year, the loss, guys, $62 million, $34 million, and then $17 million in the last 3 years. The last year, $17 million hit. That's nothing. The year before that would be 30. If we got rid of him in 2027, $34 million hit. And again, if we got rid of him after that second year, 2024, 2025, we cut him in 2026, it hit $62 million. That's a lot. So you probably got to keep him 3 full years. You probably got to keep Dak 3 full years here. And then if you really wanted to part ways, I mean, $34 million when the cap has grown $60 million since then in 3 years. When you add it up, that may be the move if the Cowboys really want to go a different direction. But they got 3 years to figure it out. It's not really a 5-year deal. It's this year and then 4 more.
Yeah.
It's really a this year and 2 more. And then the Cowboys can really figure shit out. I'll get to this in a minute. First, we got the man Mark Hovsepian with the 5 on it. And he's not happy about this Dak deal, so let's get to it. What do you guys say about this, Mark?
He said, we reworked Steele's contract and signed Dak. Why not fucking do that before the season and sign someone? Who is there to sign? Total clown shows.
Hey, Mark, again, I know you've been listening and checking in with us. We haven't done as many shows this offseason, but again, I got to reiterate this. The Cowboys, they do this so we don't sign anybody. That is the whole purpose. They don't want to sign new players. They don't want to sign the big name guys. They want their own guys. They don't want to sign the guy that's going to put us over the top, even if he costs $15 million a year, or for a 1-year deal for $15 million, $14 million, whatever it is. They're not looking at that shit. They're not looking at $6 million guys. The Cowboys. They're looking at they're looking at under $6 million guys. That's it. That's the way the Cowboy front office works. And like we've said for years, and I know you've been here for it, Mark, the Cowboys, they pay minimum money to the outside veterans at most, $3, $4, $5 million at most, and then it's all about our own guys, which even our own guys they bullshit with. So here's the deal, Mark. My point is this: the Cowboys are never planning on getting any guys with any of that money, as you know. If we had Cooper Rush right now as our quarterback and no Dak hit, guess what? We wouldn't get anybody else. We'd roll it over for CD and Micah. You guys feel me? So might as well have a chance to win with Dak, because we're not going to win with any other without Dak. We ain't winning in the sense of like a rookie quarterback or some scrub from another team. So that's why people just don't get it. They don't understand. They don't remember Gary Hogaboom and Babe Laufenberg and Steve Pallure. You guys don't fucking know about that shit. Then you realize, oh fuck, we love Dak. That's what you'd be saying if you understood what I'm talking about here. So when you look at these contracts here, and I'm just saying that in general. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's just for people that I know what Mark is saying. It's about the Joneses fucking. Why are they playing this game? Because this is what the game they play. This is what they've done since we've been doing this thing, 8 years, right? On YouTube, we've been doing this,
yeah.
And the Joneses continuously fucking do this shit. It's not anything new. They did this since, and it's because Stephen Jones is taking over, guys. I mean, I just don't know if you guys knew that, but Stephen Jones taking over. When you have the Des Bryant issue in that year, and the Witten leaving, and the other things that came from that, beyond that, whether it's Jalen Smith signing, Zeke, whatever, that's all Stephen Jones, guys. So now we got for good or bad, whatever it is, that's Stephen Jones. Now, contract notes for this deal. I want to follow this real quick because we're going to move on to the finale here of the show. But you look at the contract notes. Dak and the Cowboys, of course, agreed to this 4-year, $240 million extension and new money. It includes, like I think you had brought it up the other day during the pregame talk, an $80 million signing bonus. Dak's extension has $129 million guaranteed at signing, with a total guarantee of $231 million. So his salary in 2024 and 2025 are fully guaranteed. And he has 1 year early rolling guarantees throughout the remainder of the contract. Now, I did say the Cowboys have to decide this literally like 5 days into the new league year. So, 2025 comes along, and it's like May 18th to 23rd. The Cowboys have to decide whether they're going to pay Dak's guarantee for the following year. So that's where it becomes an important thing. After his second year, the Cowboys got to kind of, I would say after that third year, before the third year, the Cowboys have to decide.
This contract ended up being the happy compromise where it sounds like both sides are able to, meet a little bit more in the middle. According to the last rumors we heard before Dak was officially signed, it was actually Dak who wanted to be here more long term. So instead of maybe 5 or 6 years, he obviously went down to the 4, and the Cowboys wanted, to
ability to get out of the contract if needed.
They want a little bit more wiggle room, maybe less money, clearly. So they gave up and basically said, okay, we'll pay you a little bit more money, but you're going to give us some of that wiggle room in some way.
He also had a no-trade clause.
Okay.
Which is important to note. No trade clause for him and no franchise tag clause, as most quarterbacks, that are franchise quarterbacks don't take that stuff. The extension lowered Dak's cap number, like I said, by $11.75 million for 2024. And I already talked to you guys about all the breakdowns there. What did the man Mark Hovsepian have to say? He just dropped that 5 on it. What did he say with that 5?
He said, I'm 55. I know them all well. Hating Dak is not the issue. If you're going to reset the market with a guy, then sign peeps to help. Imagine if we had, Henry, but, the running back.
I hear Derrick Henry. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you here. I think that for an extra $4 or $5 million, you could have got Derrick Henry. The Cowboys just are too cheap. And that is, always the root of the problem. It goes beyond Dak or the coaches or the this or that. It goes to the clown show. That they got that money, and they want to keep it rolling in. Even if they use the player for those months, the player's gonna get paid. If they're a big name guy, they get paid. So the clown show loves this nonstop fucking, circus, right? And Dak gets his money anyways, leaves no money for us to sign anybody. So now nobody can say, let's get this guy, let's get that guy, because all these guys are now signed to other teams. So that money's automatically going to be rolled over for the Dak and the CeeDee Lamb contract and anybody else that we probably, not a veteran from some other team, but anybody else, a veteran from our own team, anybody else that we drafted, that money's set aside for maybe like a Micah Parsons type situation, right? So, Micah probably be tagged, when this contract rookie deal is up, like we had with the CeeDee Lamb situation, and we'll go from there. I don't think Micah's going to get a deal early in his contract. It's going to be the same clown show, and unless we trade Micah or something crazy like that happens, the Cowboys will go down the whole thing and play the game, and then we get down to Micah like deadline thing right before the freaking, his 5th year, like CeeDee Lamb, right before in training camp, the deal gets done for Micah. And instead of saving money doing it, 2 years earlier, the Cowboys wait 2 years later and pay, an extra $10 million a year. And then the fans bitch about the players getting too much money while Jerry Jones is the one making all the money. Let's just be honest.
Exactly.
So anyways, I'll move on I'll stop bitching and all that shit. Only thing I got left is a little bit of Saints talk. I think you got the rest of the talk, if I'm not mistaken, baby. I just realized it. By the way, the last drop, Mark Hovsepian has taken over the stream boss.
Woo! Thank you so much, Mark.
Big shout out to Mark Hovsepian as Cavity 2 passing that baton along there, the torch to Mark Hovsepian, fully loaded, 100 points on the stream boss. But like I said, there is nobody right now gifted any membership so far, and nobody right now is in the Cash App. Just want to throw that in there. We do have Mark leading the overall board, and Mark Hovsepian, 100 fully loaded points on the stream boss. Anyways, I know there was other stuff that was discussed about Dak's contract and the players, and a couple little things that you picked up on, baby. So before I get to the Saints and turn the page, close the book on the Browns, and we're kind of in that little like waiting for the first practice tomorrow to begin for the Saints and all that stuff. Let's finish up what the Cowboys' thoughts are on whether it was the Browns games, injury situations, or contract talk. Dak Prescott, hit me with it, baby.
So Jerry Jones actually spoke today on 105 The Fan, and one of the things that he mentioned was, quote, "I've never seen anybody get their feelings hurt enough that the money couldn't cure."
So basically, if Dak was
even
mad,
if negotiations get ugly or whatever, once you get paid, those feelings tend to go
And
away.
that could be also about CeeDee Lamb, of course, right? Because that was
True.
more tenseness
He's the
there,
other
I think, than the Dak situation.
Yeah, that one I feel like rose to a different level. So Jerry was also asked if Dallas needs to win a Super Bowl for Dak's contract to be a success. Jerry said, quote, "Any time that we've ever made players the highest paid player or key players, such as Troy Aikman, the most highest paid player in the game, well, we won Super Bowls." So he's trying to correlate the fact that now that we paid our players so much money, now we're going to go out there and win Super Bowls because that's what happened last time we paid our players.
Not that we're going to, but he's saying the Cowboys should win. These players should win Super Bowls when you're getting paid top dollar. And I agree. But it's not a guarantee, right?
So, and, Jerry wasn't the only Jones to speak about these contractual situations. Stephen Jones also spoke with 105 Through the Fan on the Dak deal, saying, "Obviously, we understand these things take time. Yeah. I think our players understand. At the end of the day, this isn't about costing us bottom line money on the business. This is about us dividing up the salary cap. It's not anything personal."
Yeah, it's the cap. It's the freaking pie. It's bullshit. It's a lie. Anyways, yeah.
So, Stephen Jones did acknowledge that Dak and CeeDee Lamb could have gotten more if they had hit the open market. Like Dak's last deal, there's, like you just mentioned, baby, there's a no franchise tag, no trade clause. Did Dak have to, basically asking, like, why did the deal take this long? Like, how many little detailed things were there to really work out? Steven said, only the people involved know the dynamics, but yes, that's about right. So
bullshitting us again. It's obviously just them waiting, just so they want to wait till, it gets to the close of the season so they can keep dragging. They're not saying it, but they want to drag it out so it could be in the media and they can get the clicks and the views, etc. And the talk.
Exactly.
That gets them the cash. That's what they do it for.
So, that's it from the Joneses and their portion of things. But Dak Prescott himself was obviously asked about his contract situation. And the first thing that he was asked was basically, hey, did you ever ask Jerry Jones, why did it take so long to get here? Dak said, no, not at all. It could have been me. I know my part in this whole deal, and that's where negotiations come. I understand the business, point blank. This game is a business. I've said it before that I didn't take anything personal. I wasn't upset about, where we were in the talks, and I wouldn't have been upset if it didn't get done. So, no.
Yeah, Dak knew he was going to get paid no matter what. So he's good with the waiting. And that's what I'm trying to say. These players, that's why I was talking to to Mr. Mukwamu in the chat, because these players know that if they're good enough, they play the game, they're going to get paid. They're going to get paid by the Joneses. It's the way it is. Now, of course, you got Dak or CD, Zach Martins and Micah Parsons. They hold leverage. All the other guys don't hold as much leverage, but they're always going to play ball if they lowball you and you're willing to take a little less. They always play ball with you. And, hey, if you're a big name guy, they'll wait to the end and then pay you what you wanted in the first place.
There you go. So, as far as this conversation with Jerry after the deal got, done and locked in, he said he called me after, obviously, and congratulated me. I thanked him, and he said, I want you to be the quarterback here. And it's weird saying that, he said for this time. So I'm giving the guy longer than 4 years, obviously. I guess he's insinuating that we're doing another contract. He said, obviously, the player, but he also said that the person, and that meant a lot. I just want to hold up my end of the deal and deliver for him. And then, of course, as far as actually talking to Jerry Jones, because he actually talked with him after Saturday's practice, I should say. Dak said, let's surprise the world. It somewhat surprised me, but it got done.
Jones, again, surprise the world. It's all about money for the Joneses, even though we know it's a business, and for Dak, it's money too. And I completely, if someone told you in your job, take less money, you're going to take less money. So I'm just saying, like, if you're in the market and your skills bring you to the top of the market, and the richest of the rich above you are going to pay you what you're worth, then you're not going to take less. Same thing goes here. If that's the case, then why don't the Joneses take less for tickets and for parking and for concessions? They ain't doing it. They're raising the prices. So, that's the way the clown show works, in my opinion. And unfortunately, they, as you literally heard Dak, saying, like Jerry said, let's surprise the world. Let's do it tomorrow. It's surprised. Dak's not looking to showcase all this shit all over the place. It's the Joneses that want to play the game of let's take over the first day of football, Sunday football, with the news of you signing, Dak. And Dak's like, all right, cool. I'm surprised. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, now, that was it as far as like what Dak had to say himself about his situation. CeeDee Lamb also chimed in and gave his also very pricey 2 cents.
Well, yeah. I mean,
especially
he earned
since
it.
He also just recently got paid.
Broke every Cowboy record in the first 4 years of being a receiver in Dallas.
Well,
he earned it. Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb said that he's never had a doubt that the new deal would get done with Dak kind of leading things, saying, quote, he's a great leader, he's a great player, he's a great coach, he's a great teammate, brother, friend. He checks off all the boxes. The offense goes through Dak.
Yeah, so he was happy Dak signed.
They're
both together,
Yeah, we've got a lot left together. We've got a lot to accomplish.
Yep.
He did acknowledge that he had a little bit of rust on Sunday, but there's a lot more to come, and get ready.
So yeah, he knows he was rusty. Brandon Cooks, even with the injury, had more snaps than CeeDee Lamb, but they're working him in slowly, but trust me, surely. And he made his mark in that game kind of the way the man Marco Sepian's making his mark in the chat here and today on the board there, 100 points, but fully loaded. But he's got another $2 holler for J. Lou there. What do you have to say, baby? What was his 2 cents for that $2 holler?
Ooh, he said, I can't stand all this politically correct BS talk.
That just sounds like Jerry and Steven talking their blah, blah, blah bullshit. And we have to accept it because we're fans of the team that they own. That's what bothers me.
Oh.
But yeah, I wish we had different ownership.
I know.
I respected the fan base a little more.
Thomas Garrett said, the damn clown show.
It is. We've been saying it for years. Just, I think some people are starting to recognize that it actually is a clown show.
Right.
The way they handle this business. It's a business. It's not a team. It's a business to them.
And Cheese Louise, thanks for hanging here. Let me see Marco Seppi and Seabass, Dustin Roberts, much love. So no, I know I still have a few things to touch on. Just wanted to give some
of course.
little baby shout outs there. Let me see. I already read CD's comments there. So Jimmy Johnson also had his own thoughts to share about the Dak contract situation, saying, like it or not, Dak is the guy. He will be the guy. He's been great during the regular season. Everybody says, well, you got to win playoff games. Well, give him a chance to win playoff games. Surround him with a better supporting cast.
And yet we took basically pieces away and drafted pieces, but took pieces away for that supporting cast, right? Tolbert has to step up in that third receiver role. We have to have 2 rookies step up at center and left tackle. We have a conglomerate of running backs, Zeke, maybe a Dalvin Cook as a practice squatter. Both guys lost all their explosiveness at least the last couple of years, especially Zeke. And Rico Dowdle in there. I'm saying you have a committee running back situation. You got Ferguson got banged up. Great, but he's a drafted guy, right? Cook's the only guy we really brought on this team from another team. Everybody else is a Cowboy drafted player. So you guys understand. So that's the way I see that there. When I hear talk like that from Jimmy, I understand Jimmy. Trust me, I wish he was our GM. He would build this team to be a championship team. Trust me, he'd take no shit about it either.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a real deal there. I tell you that.
Like I said, I read Jimmy Johnson's comment,
Yeah.
So Micah Parsons, by the way, had a pretty funny reaction to Dak's contract, saying, "God damn." Well, he said a little more than that, but I'll get to that in just a second because Marco Sepien,
God damn,
just dropped
Marco
a
Sepien dropping that
holler.
5 on it.
What he said there?
In the lead. What did he have to say?
Checks all the boxes. 2 playoff wins versus horrible teams in 8 years with generally solid teams. Can't stand this BS. It's not about the money, he said, but $60 million then?
Well, I mean, again, I think when it comes to Dak Prescott, he's not going to take less than Trevor Lawrence. That was the Jones. Again, I think Mark. What I'm trying to say is that the Joneses allowed this to get to this point. They allowed it to get to $60 million. If they had done the deal 3 months ago, it would have been 57. It would have been 56. You understand, Mark? I don't blame Dak for taking what he's worth. If Trevor Lawrence is getting 55, you think Dak should get less? Like, there's no way. So, again, it's kind of like that analogy of, like, hey, if someone came to your job and said, you know what, you're going to make less now. We think you should make less because you're going to help the company. Would you do that? I'm just saying, of course not. So I'm just saying this is something that's a business. Dak knows it. The Joneses, trust me, if anybody knows this, the Joneses. So it's on them to let it get to this point. The Joneses let it get to this point with CD. You don't think we could have had CD for cheaper? What about last year if we had given them a little more, knowing that this was coming? Give them $28 million last year, it would have been good. But no, now we're giving them 34 because they waited. The Joneses waited. They're playing the game. And then we get guys like Jordan Love and Trevor Lawrence. They get the $55 million. Do they deserve more than Dak? I think not. So why would Dak take less than them? It's just common sense. It's just common sense. So if the Joneses would have got the deals done for both these guys before these other deals got done, and I'll say at least with Dak's we know we have to wait for Justin Jefferson at this point to get done. If the Cowboys done it last offseason for CeeDee Lamb, we would have been fine. They would have overpaid last season. We would have been fine this year. Even if we would have overpaid last year, we would have been very underpaying CeeDee Lamb if we had done the deal last year. And Dak's situation, same thing. I mean, if we did his deal in March, forget about money for players, we wouldn't spend it. But if we did it in March, we would have saved money on Dak's contract. It would not be $60 million. It might be $56 million. We would have saved $4 million a year. And how much is $4 million a year? It goes a long way. You get a good player or two, especially with this front office, with the way they work. Only the cheap players, yeah. Right? The less expensive players. $2 million for two players. I mean, there's your running back core right there. I'm saying for the Cowboys, that's a lot of money. $4 million. They just threw it out the window because of laziness, because of dragging it out to make money in their pockets, away from from media stuff, away from the NFL. They're making money away from the NFL. They're making their money, pocketing it, and then paying Dak a little bit extra. Okay, they don't care. They hurt the cap. They don't care. As long as they got their fucking clicks and views, the last fucking 3 months, they could have had this thing sealed up, signed, sealed, and delivered. 4 or 5 months ago when the fucking offseason started or whatever. We have 5 months ago. Could have had this thing sealed up in March. God damn it. Even more than that. So I'm just saying, like, this is all on the front office. If you're mad that Dak's getting paid $60 million, blame Jerry and Steven. They're the ones that let it get to this point. They're the main culprits here. And yes, 2 playoff wins. Every playoff team is got to be okay, right? And one had Tom Brady and one had Russell Wilson. Just saying, Dak got the best of them, but it's not Dak. It's the Dallas Cowboys. I always say this. It's not the Dak Cowboys. It's the Dallas Cowboys. So Dak did not beat the Seattle Seahawks. Dak did not beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As the other losses were not necessarily on Dak. It wasn't Dak that got beat by the Niners twice. It wasn't Dak that got beat by the Packers in his rookie year. It was a team loss. And Dak's responsible for it in some ways. But in my opinion, and in pretty much every loss, Dak has been one of the least of the bigger problems that's been hindering us in our losses in the playoffs. It's been actually Dak in the beginning of these playoff games that we've lost, with the ones that we lost, the Packer game, the Rams game. Dak got us back in the game. If not for Dak, we would have got blown out of the Packer game. We would have got blown out of the Rams game. So yeah, I think Dak helps much more than hurts. That's my point. Is he worth $60 million? You got to talk to the Joneses why they allow that to happen.
Okay, no, I thought you were going to add something else in there. So, by the way, Siva said, what was their pay, if anybody in the chat is paying attention? Let me see. What was Manning and Bree's record in their 8th, 9th season? Basically, like, how much, I guess, were they getting paid compared? I know...
percentage-wise, it's hard to...
Yeah, I don't know percentage-wise, and my memory could be a little rusty, but if I'm not mistaken, I know at least, like, Drew Brees didn't... Like, he got paid his big money after, like, right around the similar time frame, like 8th or 9th year. And then similar to the whole Super Bowl thing, like, I think it was around his, like, 9th year that he actually won his Super Bowl, something like that.
Pretty sure it was his 8th year. He won the Super Bowl.
Okay. So
and Peyton Manning, I think it took Peyton Manning a shitload of years, too, didn't it?
Okay.
I thought it took him a couple of years, too. My point is that they kind of got their Super Bowls on those years. The pay structure back then, and it was different. It was just done differently. Now you're getting paid before you're winning Super Bowls, but for the time frame, they were not getting paid the quarterback money they're getting paid now. That was taking over the percentage of your of your cap. Back then, quarterbacks were still kind of held at a certain level, and the dollar amounts were not going up as rapidly as they are now. So that's part of the difference, I think, of the way things were handled in 5, 6, 7, 2010, 12, and now 2024, right? Mm-hmm. So the last 3 or 4 years since COVID, since the new CBA deal, all that stuff. Anyways, back to you, baby.
So I think I left it off with Micah Parsons' comments about Dak's contract.
Yeah, we didn't. You just said,
where he said, goddamn, joked that Dak's never gonna go broke. But then, he did get serious for a minute and said he didn't cheat the game. He earned everything he got. That just goes to show. That just goes for his work, his dedication, his craft, everything he puts into it. Good things happen when you don't cheat the game. And I can say he's been 100% ballin' since he's been here.
Oh, Micah giving the love there to Dak and his contract.
And speaking of contracts, Stephen Jones actually spoke about Micah Parsons' upcoming contract. I figured I would add that in here now since he just spoke.
Again, Micah is eligible for a contract. He did not get one this year.
Yeah.
So Stephen Jones, continuing his conversation from earlier, what did he say?
He said, right now, it's certainly not anything that's on the table. Micah made a conscientious decision that he thinks he can put together an even better year. I think he got off to a great start yesterday against the Browns, and I think his play speaks louder than words.
I think the Joneses are ready to move on from Micah Parsons. I'm feeling like the Cowboys, they want to see more from Micah. They want to wait for him to do more. I mean, the guy's done. He's the defensive monster in the league, and they're saying that they want to see more from Micah and get him a better year. All right, great. We'll see a better year. Are they going to pay? Are they going to tag him, piss him off, and then he's going to go somewhere else? You know what I'm saying? Eventually, he's a guy. Micah's a guy. He sits out. He'll sit out. He don't give a fuck. He'll sit out and get his money. Next year or the year after if it needs to come to that. So he has the pull that will get. He'll have leverage on that. Unlike any non-star doesn't have that much leverage, but any star, whether it's Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, they have all the leverage. So they sit out. It does make waves and it does cause things to happen and people getting paid. So that's what did Micah say? I guess you already said Micah's comment, didn't you?
Yeah, I was talking about Stephen Jones talking about Micah's contract.
I'm sorry.
Upcoming
contract. What was said?
He said, right now, it's certainly not anything that's on the table. Micah made a conscientious decision that he thinks he can put together an even better year. I think he got off to a great start yesterday against the Browns, and I think this play speaks louder than words.
We heard that already. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Yeah, I thought there was more. That's all.
I said I think he expects to have a great year under Zimmer. Yeah, right.
I don't think we heard the second part.
Okay, so maybe that's... the first part. Okay, so... Oh, baby, that's why He said, I think he expects to have a great year under Zimmer, and then probably feel comfortable to talk about it then. Each individual is different. Opportunities come, and when they're there and the player feels good about something, will certainly move to do something. At the same time, sometimes players just aren't ready yet, and they don't feel like their situation's in the right situation to start the process.
Double talk by old Stephen Jones.
Sounds like they're talking about the situation from Jersey Shore. So that was it from the Joneses. We did hear quick little blurbs from our coaches. As Mike Zimmer had this to say as far as Micah Parsons' usage, saying he's a dynamic guy and we want to put him in a lot of different places.
You guys, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He also said that he was very impressed with Kalen Carson and Marshawn Nealon.
2 rookies, yeah. And Micah being moved around, major. That's major. We saw him moved around all over the defensive line, which is what we need to see. I like that from Zimmer. Who else spoke?
Schottenheimer had this to say.
Offensive coordinator, yeah.
About Hunter Lipke, saying, quote, Hunter Lipke doesn't get enough credit for what he means to our offense. He mentioned him as, he talked about the tight end group. If Ferguson isn't able to play this week. So, again, exactly what we expected. He's going to help fill some of that hole, right? And, by the way, Bones, Mr. John Fossil, he had this to say as far
Special
as
teams, yeah.
the end of the half field goal, that whole situation.
The 66-yarder that turned to a 71-yarder
Yeah.
because of delay of game.
So he said that the ball was brought in late and that the officials kept Trent Sieg from snapping the ball when they wanted to. So they considered a 71-yarder to try, but the kick was into the wind, and they just didn't want to risk the potential return. So I'm guessing if it wasn't against the wind, they probably would have gone for it.
It's mind-blowing to me, honestly. They were willing to kick into the wind a 66-yarder.
Which clearly they weren't wrong, because look at him. I mean, that's a joke.
He made it. It's crazy.
I mean, that's why I said clearly they weren't wrong. Look at him,
baby, you don't understand. Kicking into the wind for a 45-yarder is tough. Mm-hmm. Kicking into a wind for a 55-yarder is fucking tough. He kicked into a 66-yarder and he made it. It didn't count. And they were considering a 71. What the fuck are we? This ain't real. I don't know. It's not real. It does not. Baby, I'm sorry. I know. I just watch a lot more football. It does not register in my brain. That's all. That's just me. I don't know. But that's interesting to hear. A little behind the scenes there.
So, and the final thing I have here on my side, Bones also, because he was one of the authors of that new kickoff rule, he believes that the return percentage will increase as kickers get better at hitting that sweet spot between the 5 and the goal line. So it's just a matter of, like the skills players kind of catching up as they adjust their skills.
Yeah, well, skills. I think it was more like the kickers adjusting to getting it landing in the right spot. I think with his investigation through the UFL, what he found was, kickers eventually, over a span of like 2 years, he studied this, right? 3 years. Over the year, these returns were coming more and more because kickers were knowing how to kick the ball right. And that's right now what I think he's saying. You'll see kickers kick the ball, landing in the right spots to force teams to take out the kickoffs, and you'll see, these dynamic kickoffs lead to bigger plays. It could be a defensive strip ball, you stopping them in the 15 or 20-yard line, or it could be, the kickoff team going all the way for the touchdown. I think things with a lot less injuries. That's the key here. Keep the injuries down. Keep the kickoffs going, even if you're not getting a tremendous amount of returns for touchdowns. At least you're getting returns. So that's what I think is the key. The returns without the injuries is the key, I think. So that's what we're accomplishing there. Now, I don't know if you had anything more to say on your part, but I do want to say when it comes to this upcoming week, guys, real quickly, if you got them, drop them. Those Saints, the Saints hate. We got 2 emojis in there, and if you're part of the navy blue crew, silver level 2, the star level, and the over everything level, which by the way, we're going to be having a raffle here very soon. Stay tuned. But those are the hates right there. The Saints hate. Drop them if you got them. The bagheads, the ain'ts, whatever. That is our opponent this upcoming week. Let's close the book on the Browns. We won that game. Now, as we turn the page, I'm going to give you a quick little preview, but we're going to break this thing down. Keys to victory, winning this game, the matchups to look for. That's all coming on Friday night right here in My Cowboys Family, as we call it, Fan Friday. So let me just quickly show you guys the, I guess you could say, the new hateful emoji I'm going to use for the Saints, or the Ain'ts, I should say. So first off, for this game, Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt are going to be calling the game. Seems like Brady's going to be attached to most of the Cowboy games this year. And then in week 3, guess who we get? We get the Ravens, but we also get Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt. So literally, Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt have done week 1, week 2, and week 3 of the Cowboys is what they're going to end up doing.
The unofficial crew there.
Yeah, we got our own Cowboy broadcasting crew, it looks like. It's the number 1 crew of Fox, and it's Tom Brady. Now, the Cowboys have not lost. Here's something you got to be confident about. The Cowboys have not lost a regular season home game. We lost to the Packers in the playoffs at home, but we have not lost a regular season home game since week 1 of the 2022 NFL season. That was against the Buccaneers when Dak broke his thumb. So that was the last time we lost a regular season home game. That's the Cowboys' second longest home field winning streak in franchise history.
Yeah, way to go.
While the Saints have lost 5 of their last 8 road games in the regular season. So again, overall, I'm talking about with this crew of Saints players in this past year, they've lost 5 of their 8 road games. They're just not a very good road team, at least not last year. I don't want to take this Aints team. I don't want to take them, I want to take them seriously is what I'm trying to say. A reminder for the Cowboys. Do you know who the offensive coordinator is for the Saints? We'll talk about this more on Friday. It's Clint Kubiak. All right? He has some connection to the Cowboys. And more importantly, where was he last year? Do you remember?
No.
He was working with the San Francisco 49er offense.
Oh.
So he knows how to run against us, how to neutralize us, and how to. Now, does he have the same? The Saints, do they have the same thing as the Niners have? I don't think so. I know they don't. But the Saints in Week 1, here's where you get the Shanahan stuff. In Week 1, they were number 1 in pre-snap motion, and they were 3rd in play action rate. But as I said earlier tonight, what would I say?
I was going to say, it's a good thing that we improved those two specific categories against the Browns.
Yes. In this year, in Week 1 against the Browns, the Cowboys, big improvements in pre-snap motion, big improvements in play action rate, just in comparison to what we did in a yearly way the last 3 years. This was a different kind of team ready on the pre-snap stuff and the play action rate. Well, the Saints are going to bring it because they're number 1 in pre-snap and number 3 in play action. I'm sure these are keys we will touch on Friday. Now, I do want to touch on one last thing, injuries. Now, we talked about Ferguson for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. All right, it looks like he's going to be practicing with this on the sideline. We'll get more Lipke. We get Brevin Spanford. Maybe we get John Stevens back. But we know that there's not going to be a Jake Ferguson in this game for the Cowboys. So I would say that's pretty known. Now, the other 2 injuries I think you touched on during the game and after was Brandon Cooks and Eric Kendricks. They were more for dehydration reasons, I think you had said.
Yeah.
So they should be good to go.
It wasn't like an injury situation. Yeah. So
they should. If you look at these next 3 days, guys, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday practices. Injury report. We're not going to be live, but if you look at the injury reports, we'll be live on Friday to kind of wrap it all up and see the game statuses. But the injury reports, they're going to be probably resting guys like Brandon Cooks if they need to, or Eric Kendricks if they need to. And there might be a couple guys there with bumps and bruises, but we should be okay other than Jake Ferguson, who we know, even though he's week to week, he's going to miss this. Let's be honest, he's going to miss this game. What about the Saints? The one guy I'm going to point out just before we get to the whole week of injury report and Friday when we get the game statuses come out, we'll know more. But right now, I want to say keep an eye on their number 1 cornerback. Yeah, you guys know Marshawn Lattimore. He has a minor, and it is, I got to specifically say here, a minor hamstring injury. But nonetheless, hamstrings, that could be an issue, especially for a cornerback. So, he has a tweak there in his hamstring. There's a big question still to be determined if he plays this week or not. And that is a major matchup for the Cowboys and Saints because the Saints, who is going to be Marshawn Lattimore's, number 1 coverage guy here, following him across the field? He's going to be covering C.D. Lamb. And that, my friends, probably going to be outside of the trenches, CeeDee Lamb versus Marshawn Lattimore. If he plays, number 1, he'll have a little bit of that minor hamstring issue, right? Even if he does play. If he doesn't play, how does the Saints plan on stopping or slowing down CeeDee Lamb in Dallas at home? It's going to be tough. That's a major matchup. It's a key matchup for the Cowboys and Saints. And again, if Marshawn Lattimore cannot play, CeeDee Lamb's going to, I think, again, he's going to have, again, I think he still has, he's going to be able to beat them if they had to go one-on-one against each other. With the hamstring, if he plays, if he don't play, it's going to be a backup or their second corner. The Aints are in trouble. It's a key matchup for, again, some of the NFL's best at corner and at receiver. But I also think that if you move CeeDee Lamb to the slot, that is the single biggest mismatch. We know about the trenches, but the single biggest mismatch that our offense can create on a weekly basis is this man right here, the guy we just paid. One of the guys we just paid. If you use him in the slot more often, you create a weekly mismatch. CeeDee Lamb, all right? Again, he can play outside or inside. He's going to mess you up. No matter which way you go, you're going to mess up the defense. But when you play in the slot against, if you play a nickel corner, they already are usually, there's not many great nickel corners already. You got an advantage. And if you're going against a guy who's going to follow you around like Marshawn Lattimore, now they're going to have to figure out another way slowing down CeeDee Lamb. I don't know. I don't know if there's a single cornerback alive who can check him from the slot. And that includes Marshawn Lattimore if he does play through this injury and follow him across the field. Whoever's on CeeDee Lamb this weekend, that you can see where I'm going, guys. You know the trench is always the key to victory. Is our offensive line, their defensive line, our defensive line versus their offensive line. But I'm telling you, the keys on the skill position field right here, that's going to be Lattimore versus CeeDee Lamb. And I think CeeDee Lamb wins anyways. He definitely wins with Lattimore if he plays with that injury, with the hamstring, minor hamstring issue. And if he don't play, what are they going to do? I don't even know what answer they will have. We'll talk about that on Friday. Just want to give you a little quick preview about these ain'ts. They ain't shit. Hopefully our Cowboys can get work done. Do not overlook the Saints. They are not an easy team. It's better not be a trap game. We're at home. It's been a while since we lost at home in the regular season, but it has been recent. The last home game we had was a playoff game we lost at home. That should stay in our heads for a while. Hopefully the players keep this in their heads, and we hopefully extend the streak. More importantly, win this game against the Saints and establish ourselves as a better overall offense, defense, as much as you can improve the defense, which, adding a couple sacks and a pick or two, we're beyond dominating. So you can improve the defense, the offense, and the special teams. Let's do it all. I mean, let's keep getting touchdowns from Turpin and record-setting kicks from Aubrey and booming punts from Anger outside that first one. I'm telling you, guys, we got 2 tackles from Trent Sieg, our long snapper. I'm just saying. So let's just not look past this team. Let's focus. Hopefully the Cowboys are ready, and let's handle business against the Saints at home to open up the 2024 home game for our Cowboys. And that's all I got right now in the Saints game, baby. You got your stuff done. I got my stuff done. We went over 2 hours tonight because, hey, we don't go live 2-3 times a week, so we got to give you a little more.
A lot to say.
Got a little more to say here for the Cowboys and give you more stuff to discuss with us, whether it's the Browns recap or the quick little preview of the New Orleans Saints game. We hope you enjoyed this here with us. And, hey, if you're watching us on replay, make sure you leave your comments down below, baby. I'll pass the mic over to you. I do want to say one last thing. Big shout outs to Jet Lee 44, the sponsor of the week and the current gifting champion. You'll see his name coming through there.
Right.
What did he give? 13, I think he did last week. Big shout outs to the man Jet Lee 44. But then you have the Cash App King. Boom. Cab 52 representing the board. Big shout out to Cab 52 who went up there and broke a streak or two up there. And then we have Mark Hovsepian running the Stream Boss, fully loaded, 100 points. Much love to the man Mark Hovsepian, who is also currently, right now, at the moment, not just the sponsor, not just the Stream Boss, but he's also coming for that sponsor of the week. He is the current first place person on the overall board. Again, nobody in the Cash App, nobody in the gifting board, but everything else. You got Mark Hovsepian, currently the leader on the other 2 boards. Big shout out to the man from Hawaii, repping that star over everything. I see Ram, the man in the house, Cheese Louise, Seabass, a couple others, Jay Duncan. We're doing the After Dark thing, a little debate talk there, right, from the presidential debate. You can join us over there on the After Dark session. But I did my shout outs there. I also want an extra special shout out to the 3 people dropping the love here tonight: Skeptical Fan, Mark Hovsepian, and Jet Lee 44. Big extra shout outs to those guys repping the love here for the channel tonight.
That's right.
As we wrap it up, baby, why don't you give me the shout outs in the chat? Who's in the house?
Of course. Thank you so much, Ram, as you said.
Yep.
Even you, real shit. Cheese Louise 23, much love. The man himself, C. Bass, representing. Jay Duncan in the house. We have, let me roll back here, Dustin Roberts representing. And of course, a big mahalo to Mark Hovsepian.
Hell yeah.
Thomas Garrett, the Superior Garrett. I know a Skeptical Fan was in here not that long ago. Xavier Hidalgo, what's up? Popeye Peach 187. Let's see. Xavier Hidalgo. At least on my side, that's all the ones that are showing up. So there we go. So guys, again, a huge shout out to everybody here chilling, hanging with us, taking the time out of your day, your night to, let us know how you feel about your Dallas Cowboys.
About our Dallas Cowboys. And again, big shout out to everybody who's checking in with us, watching on the replay, the whole 9 yards. And, you can be anywhere right now. You're here chilling with us. But, baby, as you know, let everybody know why we do this each and every night here in My Cowboys Family.
It's that navy blue. that silver 2 and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. On this channel, we rep that star over everything here on MCF, here on My Cowboys Family. For 7 years, going into our 8th season. Never forget, the number one thing here now and forever. As always, go Cowboys. We got 5. Let's get that 6 and beyond.
That's right.
Thank you guys for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you guys for dropping that love from above. And again, follow us over on the MCF After Dark if you want to continue the debate, if you know what I mean. So on that note, and I'll be setting up a stream soon for that. It'll be a shorter stream tonight because we went longer here. But guys, thank you for joining us here. We'll be relocked and reloaded again on Friday for Fan Friday and the preview of the Cowboys-Saints game. So, baby, before we can officially drop out for the night, what do we got to do?
We got to drop the beat.
Yeah, beat's been dropped. It is a wrap right here on My Cowboys Family. And again, thank you all for joining us here for another one. With all that news, info, and updates, thank you for joining us here for another one. Another one here on My Cowboys Family. Another Cowboys chat, baby, in the books. And the recap and all, the ain'ts around the corner. We discussed it all, right, Dak? He knows it. He got it. He got paid. We keep it going. Guys, thank you again here in MCF for helping us rep that navy blue, that silver 2, and that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing that we do here. Number one reason that we rep that star. The number one thing here, My Cowboys Family. It's you guys in the house. Thank you all for repping that star with us and hitting that like button for this stream, hitting that subscribe button for the channel, and hitting that notification bell. So you know we're going live, videos, shorts, whatever, live streams. We're almost at 40. Guys, we're like under 100 to go for 40,000 family members, aka subscribers. So thank you all. We can't do this without all your guys' love and support. The new guys and the old guys. The OGs. Again, stay safe out there, guys. If you need to keep finding us how we going live, you can always go to the Discord, which is the link is in the description, or follow us at My Cowboys Family on Twitter, X, whatever. We'll see you guys back here on Friday, Fan Friday, for the preview for the Saints-Cowboy battle. Stay safe, everyone out there. We'll see you soon. Much love, peace, and never ever forget. Go Cowboys!